This is Three Men and an Anime for May 15th, 2017. Howdy, folks. This is Peter Bowman, and as always, I'm joined by my good friends and co-hosts, Eric Carlson and Gav Leaf, Sonic Gav. How are you guys doing tonight?
I have booze.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I have a day off tomorrow, that's all I care about.
So Gav is doing just fine.
Yes.
Excellent. So this week we are going to be covering The Devil is a Part-Timer, which was my most recent choice. It's a comedy, believe it or not. Given the title, it's probably not that big a shock.
I'm going to say, take a moment, just let that title sink in.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes everybody needs money sometimes.
Now, technically speaking, and by the way, the devil part of that, not actually hyperbole.
Yeah.
In fact, the entire title is completely factually correct within the confines of the,
Within the context of the show, yes. Satan gets a job at McDonald's.
Yeah. McDonald, please.
Right.
So, yes, the main character of the show, our protagonist, is in fact Satan.
Yeah.
Now, asterisk. There's a little bit of an asterisk with this. So the show starts out in this place called Enta Isle. It's another world. Big war going on between. There are basically 5 islands, sort of, as they say, deranged and sort of across, I guess. At the center, on the center island, is ruled over by the Lord of the Demons, Satan, and his 4 demon generals and his army of demons. And he's at war with all the human kingdoms surrounding him on the other 4 islands.
This is very much Overlord Demon Satan, not Ruler of the Underworld Satan.
Right.
Yeah, we're not talking
Demon
biblical
King Satan. This is Sauron. This is Morgoth, not like actual fallen angel Satan.
Although there are touches of the balance between the holy and the dark, so it is kind of biblical, but not the same role.
What, Morgoth isn't? He was a fucking angel, effectively. Well. He just didn't go to hell. He just landed on Earth. It's fine.
At any rate, so yes, he dispatches each one of each. He basically sends 4 armies out, one in each direction, each one led by one of his demon generals. It seems to be going smashingly well, conquering shit. Then a hero of immense power rises up amongst the humans, smashes the, I believe, Western army, or was it the Southern army? I think it was Western. Unimportant, really. Smashes one of the armies, goes off, basically takes the troops from there, goes off, smashes the another demon army, takes that, goes to smash the 3rd one, and then all those humans go and invade the center island to take on Satan. Big fight ensues. Satan is very clearly losing. The last of his generals, Alciel,
yes.
He and the last of his generals basically open up a portal to another open up a gate to another world and flee through it, saying, you've won the day for now, but I will be back and I will conquer the world. Bwahaha! 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 And dives to the portal. And lands in modern-day Japan. Much to their consternation. Basically, they're like, okay, well, we've gotten away. This all sucks. Step out onto the street. Where the fuck are we? What the fuck are these things? Why the fuck do we look like humans?
What happened to my horns? I had such lovely horns.
All right, maybe I'll try casting a spell. Magic does not seem to... I'm losing magic rapidly, and I can't cast spells. This is bad. Who are these two people who are approaching us?
A couple of cops. Oh, hey, look, it's cosplayers. They look lost. We should help them.
It's like, who are you two? They start talking in their very straight, their language that's been manufactured for the show, their native language. They're foreigners. They're cosplayers and foreigners. Oh boy. You boys look like you've gotten in a bit of trouble. It looks like you might have been in a bit of a fight. Why don't you guys? We'll take you down the station. Just ask you if you make sure everything's all right, and then we'll let you go and such.
All the while, LCL is basically, giving it all the whole. How dare you, stinking human! Take your dirty hands from my master! And they're like, he's talking.
How dare such a vermin speak to the Grand High Lord of demonic kickassery?
So they end up at the police station. They're taken to separate questioning rooms. Satan proceeds to use a little bit of magic to hypnotize the cop he's talking to. The cop basically is being very nice. Brought him some food, a katsudon, I believe, which Satan's sitting there analyzing exactly what it is. He's like, okay, there's...
All right, this is
looks like
food?
Chicken, breaded and fried, on top of some sort of rice, it looks like, with broth and an egg on top. Huh. Interesting. So he proceeds to hypnotize the cop and basically starts asking him for information about the world. And using a little bit of magic.
Give me the history of everything now.
And basically using magic to translate it for himself because
right.
He's like, okay, I can hang. I can if I'm using my magic very efficiently, I can get the information we desperately need because we're clearly not at home anymore.
We've got no idea what's going on,
and magic is not working. He finishes interrogation, goes and finds Alciel, who is chowing down on the katsudon.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know, this is good.
And Alciel's like, oh my God, you're okay, great, thank you, Satan, thank you, oh thank goodness, you're all right. And Satan's like, yeah, I found this information and stuff, It's like, and Alciel's like, I was trying it. It's like, yeah, it's a very common sort of cheap food dish called katsudon. And Alciel's like, that sounds like that is a sound of power to it. Right. Let's get out of here. We're clear to go. I've made sure that the cops are these policemen who are apparently some sort of state-sponsored law and order people thing. Yeah,
they're doing it. They're doing it heavily on the outsider looking in. Like everything is new, everything is weird. Only that's something I kind of like, actually, having an outside look at current day, what we take for granted, sort of thing. But it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Oh, it's amusing. They encounter cars and they're like, okay, that's a carriage of some sort. No horses, no magic. Clearly a machine of some sort.
We can work with that, yeah.
Okay. But then we get this wonderful little montage of basically Satan going, okay, I've picked up the information of what we need to do in order to actually survive here. Step one, we have to get documents proving that we exist. So let's go, go to the, this, I forget the name of the census bureau.
The family registration.
To get themselves IDs, basically.
The Japanese equivalent of the DMV.
Right. So he goes there, uses a bit of magic to, to convince them that, that they should have the forms and the information should be put into the system and such.
Yeah.
So, okay, now that we've got our IDs, we have to open a bank account.
Names for themselves and ages and all that sort of shit.
Right.
So they establish actual Japanese names and ages and such. They go to the bank to open up bank accounts with a little bit of money he convinced the cop to lend him. So, okay, great. We'll open a bank account. Now that we have our IDs and our little sort of seal thing, we can open a bank account. Great. Now that we have a bank account, we can get somewhere to live. What can we afford? A fuck. Right, so apparently we can afford... Oh, and also Satan proceeds to teach himself Japanese, sort of.
enough to get by.
Enough to get by at this point.
Yeah.
And the amount of sort of, just how enthusiastic he is about the fact that he's actually been able to learn this new language so quickly. And the level of how impressed Alciel is with him is just gloriously amusing.
Alciel's kind of awesome.
Oh, absolutely. And we'll talk about them as characters in a moment. So, they arrive at they go to a realtor to find a place, and the only place that really will take that they can actually get is a one-room apartment run by an eccentric landlady, shall we say?
Yeah, it's one room with various cupboards. One of them has a bathroom in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a one-room. It's effectively a studio apartment.
Yeah,
It's they've got a kitchen.
It's not quite a studio apartment because they had to, if I remember correctly, they had to actually buy their refrigerator.
Yes, it did. Well, it didn't have the. Yes, it didn't have. It had no appliances built into it. It had it had counter space and like cupboards and such. They, eventually, we find it a bit later. So, I think it might have had a single single burner thing for the stove, but
Right.
at any rate, but it's got a bathroom and all that stuff. So, and they're sitting there like, okay, we're basically broke. We have this tiny apartment. Well, fuck. What are we going to do?
Isn't it about this time that the devil collapses?
Yes, in fact, he does, in fact, collapse.
It's like,
Oh, yeah.
what's going on? It's like, how was I supposed to know this stupid body needed food?
Right, humans have to eat.
Oh, damn it.
Right, so everything about our lives now requires money. We have to get jobs.
It's this rapid, just we've gone from, ultimate castle of badassery, and they even start referring to the little apartment as Castle Overlord.
Yes.
So he's like, well, fuck, we're in this new place. We don't have any powers. I can't just take shit over. Fuck, I need a job.
So what ends up happening?
Who hires two guys? Who will hire a dude that just showed up with no employment history? Hi, McDonald's.
Yep.
McDonald's.
It's Mig Ronalds ends up.
Ronalds.
Yes. So yes, Satan, now going by the name of Sadao Mao.
Yeah.
And his old friend and roommate, Shiro Ashia, are now roommates. And Ashia keeps getting, and we'll refer to them as Sadao and Mao. We'll refer to them as Mao and Ashia for most of the rest of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't often go by their other names.
For obvious reasons. So the Mao ends up, working at McDonald's. The McDonald's is the name of it, and within the totally,
Yeah.
not legally actionable.
Yeah, I mean, just to skip ahead a little bit, there's a little bit later on, their biggest rival moves in across the street, Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yes. As I said, not legally actionable. He works part-time at McDonald's. Ashia has trouble keeping a job.
Yeah, he ends up pretty much just going, okay, I suck at this, so I'm just gonna end up researching all about magic here because they have some kind of tradition about it. It's leaks in their fiction, so there might be something we can do to get more magical powers. I'm going to research what I can.
Yeah, that's specifically Mao actually tells me to do that. He's like, okay, look,
right.
Here's what's going to happen. I've still got my job. I've got my job at McDonald's. It's enough for us to get by. They've got stories, as Eric said, they've got stories and legends about magic. It means it must have been real at some point, maybe. I don't know. You're really smart, and you're smart. You're good at this research stuff. Do that. take care of the house. I mean, you've done a great job at taking care of the house. So I'll focus on getting us money. You focus on like finding out anything you can about magic, and etc.
Yeah, it just turns out that he can't really work for anybody but Satan.
Yeah, he's not good at it.
He's not very good at work.
Well, the problem is that there is only one person in the world he actually considers his superior. That he's willing to, he is completely utterly loyal to Satan. He'll do whatever he says. But he's a
no one
demon
else
general.
is really worth the trouble.
So he's not. I mean, he eventually there's an episode later on in the series where he actually does get a part-time job briefly again.
Right.
And we'll get to that. At any rate, so that ends up sort of the framing sort of thing for these two. We fast forward a bit of time after that decision to Ashia complaining about about Mao's spending habits.
Yeah, I will point this out at this point because it's come up. Things that I did mention and it did throw me. And yeah, okay, it's an implied time skip. There's a length of time that happens between this point. But how quickly the devil has decided he really likes working life. He's a career demon. He's given his all to this job. He comes home from work and he's got Ashi is at home, basically tapping his foot like the housewife for the frying pan sort of stereotype, complaining and bitching that he's wasting his pay, his wage packet and everything else. He's like, well, we got the necessities. We needed a fridge. We've got a fridge.
And we needed a washing machine because that ends up being cheaper than using the laundromat all the time.
Yeah.
And Ashia's like, well, you didn't have to buy that outright. You could have done layaway plans.
I don't trust those things. They seem kind of dishonest.
You end up spending too much on the interest. Screw that.
Yeah, you pay for nothing. He sounds just like my dad.
Well, he's basically he's like he doesn't like loans. And he's like, I can't trust buying something unless I can get my hands on it, and also there are fees and stuff. Also, by the way, I got 100 yen an hour raise, 100 yen raise. Woo!
And I was like, well, that's all well and good, but have you seen what we've got to eat? He opens the fridge and it's basically just cucumbers. It's something and cucumber, and I can't remember what the other thing is.
I forget what it is. And they obviously have rice also. And
yeah,
because Japan, of course, they have rice.
They have rice. They have eggs.
If it was in the States, they'd have they'd have pasta instead. But
oh, my cupboard, you mean?
Yeah.
There's a lot of dried pasta in my cupboard because, of course, there is.
There's one, again, skipping around because it's a fairly minor scene, but there's one scene a couple of episodes later on where they've been taught a trick, and it's basically the devil is covering these cucumbers in honey to fool himself that it's melon.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, it totally tastes kind of like a little bit like melon.
Why?
Because he can't afford melon.
Why don't you just splurge on melon instead of wasting all our honey?
Honestly, I think at least here in the States, buying a melon would be cheaper than buying the honey, honestly.
Yeah.
A jar of honey is not super cheap.
Mao becomes the breadwinner, and Ashia just becomes like
the housewife. Ashia is totally the housewife.
Yeah, but he like controls all the money. Yep. It's like, no, we're not spending this. We're not spending it. How much did that cost? No.
and part of that is that his reputation apparently was that he was very frugal, and he did a really good job at sort of maintaining his supply lines as a general and all this stuff. It was the reason
why he was the last to fall.
Right. He is literally he was Satan's right hand demon. And so Satan goes, the end of this first episode involves basically him having gone to work right before a rainstorm, waiting on the corner in the rain with an umbrella over it. young girl, a girl comes running up to him, basically without an umbrella, sort of covering her head with her pocketbook. This is not just before the end. He hands her the umbrella and says, "Yeah, just hang on, just use the umbrella. Don't worry about it. I'll be okay." And he generously gives it to her. He rides off to his job. He's at his job at McDonald's, where we were introduced to one of the other major characters in the show, one of his coworkers, Chiho Sasuke.
She's adorable.
Chiho is a young, unbelievably adorable high school student.
Chiho is best girl.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to go with Emilia on that, but Chio's adorable.
Chiho is...
You can't not like Chio.
She is a complete and total lovable sweetheart.
Yes.
She's just...
She is all sweetness and light.
Yep. And she's fairly new to the job. She's a bit of a klutz. She makes mistakes a bunch.
Well, she's still in school, isn't she? So
Yeah,
she's at that age where she's old enough to work, but still in school.
She's 16.
So, fast food. That's what they all do.
She is short and curvy, and hilariously sweet. She's great. I love.
Yeah.
She's a wonderful
She's a
character,
giant
honestly.
Bowie ball.
Oh God, yes.
Oh yeah.
And we also do meet his boss. What's her name?
Mayumi Kisaki.
Yes, Kisaki, who is honestly one of the most reasonable fast food joint bosses I've ever seen depicted anywhere.
Yeah, she doesn't shout once.
Yeah.
I mean, she gives Chio crap for screwing up, but in sort of
As bosses are supposed to do.
But in sort of an amused sort of like, yeah, don't do it again. There's definitely care of don't do it again, but don't worry about it, kid. You're not.
She's a
serious
good
trouble.
boss, honestly.
Seriously.
Like bosses like that do not exist in crappy entry level friggin' fast food or retail places.
You've got to imagine that. I think that might be just a cultural difference between Japanese fast food and
It might be.
Western fast food.
It
I
might
have
be.
no fucking clue. At any rate, so while all this is going on, they're having this sort of big thing. They're having a big special on their specialty item this week: black pepper fries. And while things are going on, basically, if their store, sells the most black pepper fries, they,
See, this is what I mean. For this first episode, It just threw me. We've gone from conquering the world to, ooh, if I get the most sales of black pepper fries, I'm going to win a prize. It's awesome. And
We'll be
generously giving,
we'll have the greatest
gen-
sales of great black pepper fries in the entire region.
and generously giving people umbrellas and all this. You did like the personification of evil. What?
The best part about all this is all sort of does ply into his actual eventual plan to take over the world.
Yeah, in his head,
And
yeah.
We'll get to that again.
Yeah.
I want to finish up talk about the first episode first. So basically, a big crisis comes up in that the deep fryer that they use for the black pepper fries breaks. And so he's sitting there going, "Oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do?" I mean, I don't want to use magic. I shouldn't use magic unless it's an emergency because I've got so little of it. But is this actually an emergency? I don't know. Oh my God.
Freaking out over the fucking fryer.
Yep.
Yes.
It's just
The fryer's
chips.
broken. Oh well.
And he basically sort of starts casting a spell when to fix it when I believe the boss comes up and surprises him, and he kind of freaks out. And she's like, "Oh, the fryer's broken. Yeah, it's not your fault. Don't worry about it. It sucks, but we'll have to take black pepper fries off the menu." Aww. Which leads to a bit of a scene where Chio's sort of comforting him about not making the goal because it's like, it's not your fault. Not like how I screw up all the time. And he's like,
But you didn't even break the fryer. It just happened. It's not your fault. But this is the first step on my plan to conquer the world.
Yeah, at this point, he is fully committed to joining in and being part of humanity, learning about humanity, climbing the corporate ladder, and ruling the world through McDonald's.
Yes. Basically, his plan was, okay, well, all right, we need to get magic so we can get back to our world. In the meantime, we might as well conquer Earth.
Yeah, I mean, it's just there, just waiting.
Yeah, no one else is doing it.
And so his plan is basically,
not
okay, we've got
competently
nothing
anyway.
to start with. So in order to get, we have nothing, and we can't do it through magic. What we need is money, lots of money. So I'll start my job at McDonald's. I'll work my way up the ladder there to make more money and earn more status, become more and more important. So I have lots of money, and then I can take over the world through having lots of money.
Many have tried, few succeed.
This was his plan at the time.
Well, not everyone can be Doctor Doom.
No. So at any rate, he goes back home, and runs into the girl who he lent the umbrella to, who proceeds to mention that she noticed she swung by the restaurant and noticed that he was to check in on him, and she mentions that she says, I didn't recognize you at first, but now I know who you are. I saw you casting a spell there. And he's like, wait, what? As she proceeds to reveal that her name she's actually Emilia Justina, the hero from the previous world, from Enta Isle, who has followed him here. And she's going to kick his ass, and that's where the first episode ends.
Yeah.
We have now met virtually all of the major characters in the show.
Yeah, we've met everyone that matters that doesn't show up.
At this point, at least, yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't show. There are two more important cast members who show up a little bit later on, but I want to talk about these four first.
Well, they are the most important ones. The others are the first amongst the side characters.
Right. So, first off, we've talked a lot about Mao, about Satan. He's So we don't get to see much of what he was back on Enta Isle. What he is on Earth is simultaneously this sort of very enthusiastic, dedicated, worker for McDonald's, and generally just nice to basically everybody.
But at the same time, there is this level underneath where every now and again he'll go super serious. And you can see that calculating general. You get the impression back on Enter Isle he was basically a guy playing Civ.
Yeah, kinda.
He didn't really interact with, and it's explained as you go along. He didn't really interact with humans. He didn't really get humans or know what they were, other than they were there and they were kind of all over the place and they were in the way.
Right. But yeah, he's he volunteers and volunteers to help, does volunteer work to help out the neighborhood. Clean places up. He's friendly with he does his best to ingratiate himself with everybody. He's incredibly charming and likable. And he's
just a good guy.
Yeah. And as Gav said, underneath there is still the very, very insightful, calculating, brilliant Satan.
Yeah.
It's just that he's,
It's as we said, it's almost like he's discovered that humans are people too.
Yes.
Yes.
That is actually the really interesting thing about the show is honestly watching how these characters from another world are changed by their exposure to modern Japan.
Yes.
And generally for the better for all of them. Mao is, he's come to appreciate, he's come to appreciate this world. It's very peaceful. Nobody's, at least in Japan, it's like everybody, it's an orderly society where nobody's really there's not a lot of war going on and all this. It's a nice place. People here in Japan are nice. I want to keep this going on like this. I want to make it a better place.
So I shall conquer it, because clearly it's how things are supposed to work.
It's like that bit of, where he's enjoying himself in this new place with new people being all nice and the rest of it. But at the end of the day, you don't get to be in a position of the power that he had without being driven and committed and all that kind of thing in the first place anyway. So when he applies that to his new job as burger flipper, he's like the best employee anyone's ever seen.
Yep.
Because he does everything by the book. He memorizes the entire code, employee's code, and just is absolutely model employee.
Yep.
So when he gets promoted to shift manager way faster than anybody really ever has heard of.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing about the
You
devil
do
is a
not
part-timer.
let someone like that go.
Yeah. Devil is a part-timer. He's a part-timer, admittedly, for the first episode. It's like, well...
No, he's still a part-timer.
Book manager, and if you carry...
now.
Yeah, and if you carry on, you might get full-time.
Yeah.
That's the carrot dangled in front of him.
That's the carrot dangled in front of him.
He's like, oh...
One day you too can work 40 hours.
Yeah.
So, and it's really interesting just watching it, just like, it was, it's really interesting watching that sort of dichotomy, and like, the dichotomy between that, and, it's also very clear he still really does want to go back to Ent Isle and take over. But
Right.
you get the feeling as the show goes on that his plans for Ent Isle are very different now. Like,
He wants to open McDonald's.
I get the feeling he'd end up being a very different, Satan, Lord of the Demons, ruler of over everything.
Right.
When he got back, if he gets back there. Ashia is Satan's right hand.
Ashia he's having the most trouble letting go of Ent Isle.
Yes.
And will take any chance he gets to fall into that role of, second underling sort of thing. But at the same time, he's not scared to berate his lord and master when he thinks he needs saying. He's the first officer. That's basically what he is.
And he's still utterly devoted to Mao.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he's the boss, clearly. I mean, duh.
It's not just that he's the boss. It's he's his lord. He's his lord. He's his king. I'm his faithful knight. He is utterly devoted to him.
Yeah, he's the one that's like, if he didn't get to the store in time to buy pot stickers, he'd prostrate himself on the floor. He's like, "I'm sorry, I failed you. Please don't punish me." It's like,
no, it's not. Please don't punish me. It's please punish me.
Oh yeah, please punish me. Yeah. He's like,
Because
he's
he screws up. He screws up in very minor ways, and Satan's like, "Yeah, dude, don't worry about it. Just stop. You're breaking a scene." Ugh.
Also, he
not
has
to
the
stick
best
out.
part of the opening intro.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh God. The thing is, Ashia is, on top of all of this, has a real flair for the dramatic.
Yes. He loves his cape.
Oh God, does he love his cape?
Well, let's be honest here. If you had a cape that awesome, you'd want to wear it all the time too.
Oh, actually, no. Sorry. To use full term, his mantle.
Yes.
Fair point.
To the point where, in the intro, as I mentioned there, he's chopping onions and flares out his cape.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
In preparation.
But,
It's great. It's hilarious.
But he's definitely more formal than Mao is. In general, he's more reserved. He's around everybody else. He's more reserved. He's loyal, dutiful. He's generally very smart, and he's the other bit important thing is he does the cooking, and he stretches their budget to the best that he can.
Admittedly, he does tend to be fairly respectful because, he even has interactions with Emilia a few times without Mao around, and
Right.
yeah, he's got a rod up his ass, but he'll still talk to her with respect and
Yeah, he considers Emilia, she's the enemy because she's the hero, but that doesn't mean you should be rude.
yeah.
Heaven forbid.
Clearly.
Oh no, that wouldn't do.
Politeness costs nothing.
Exactly. And Lord knows he likes free stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
But yeah, like, and when eventually he gets to know Chio, he again, you can't help but like this young girl, and he was like, yeah, she's eventually, we'll get to it, but he has certain things he wants. Certain things he's a little bit reserved about her, but it's Chio, so it's like, yeah, fine, whatever. She's just she's a sweet kid. I have no actual problems. I like her. She's incredibly likable and actually very helpful.
Yeah.
So yeah. So we should probably talk about Chio. So as we mentioned, Chio, we covered most of what Chio is. I mean,
And has a giant crush on Mao.
Oh, she has an enormous crush on Mao.
Like, she is crushing on him hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even just a crush. She actually, it really does come to she's actually, like, it's not just a crush. She's
fallen hard for him.
She's fallen hard for him. And, she's trying to hide it to certain degrees, trying not to be obvious about it because, again, Japanese schoolgirl character.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, everybody sees it.
Including Mao, is just like, yeah, she's cool and all, but I'm like 3,000 years old.
I mean,
she's really young for me.
We don't actually know how old Mao actually is.
Right.
It's never even
I think there's...
We know that the age that he gives on his ID is an absolute fabrication.
Oh, yeah. He's registered as being like 2021, somewhere in that range. He's in his 20s, early 20s, according to his ID. He's older than that, probably. He's almost certainly older than that, as is Alciel. Ashia. But he and Ashia are basically the same age on their IDs. And the implication I get from the show is that he's recently taken the throne on Into Isle as the Demon Lord. But I've got nothing to actually confirm that. It's just sort of the impression I got.
Yeah. Well, supposedly, I mean, we're just dipping into a little bit of the backstory. It's supposedly on his order. So, I mean, I think it's fairly recently as far as demons are concerned and their lifespans. But it's supposedly on his order is the reason that, names.
Emilia?
Blah, 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 blah. Emilia. It was his order that caused Emilia to get into the whole fight in the first place.
Right.
And she was just a child when that happened. So.
Right. Oh yeah, there was that. She was So he. But at any rate, Chio is.
The thing is, Chio is crushing like hell on him. He notices it because he's a smart enough person to actually realize it. He's not fucking shonen.
Yeah.
He is not asexual, doesn't understand. He's not Kamiki Sekai.
Yeah. She actually comes out and tells him a couple times.
So she does a full confession to him, and he's like, "Okay, that's all right."
Cool.
Yep. And I made the crack of it at the time. It was like, yeah, okay, that's lovely, human. I will keep you as a pet.
Yes.
It's not like that, but it's like he makes the same reaction where when somebody says, "Oh, your dog really loves you."
Yep.
It's like, yeah, okay, I kind of like that.
Well, of course he does. He's my dog.
What do you mean romantic? No.
I mean, he's aware that she has romantic feelings for him. And Ashia's like, yeah, it's sort of unseemly that a human's fallen for my lord, but I can't get mad at Chio.
Yeah. How do you get mad at Chio?
It's like kicking a puppy.
It really is.
And I'm a demon and I can't do this. It's like she's like, ah. But she's again, it's a case of it's not she genuinely. It's also that she genuinely respects and likes Mao as a person. And
because he does help her a lot of work as well. It's like every time she messes up, he's the one that teaches her how to do better. How to use the machines, and helps. He chews her out when she fucks up, but he helps her a lot.
Manner, and he's like, and that's how you don't do that in the future.
Yeah, it's almost like he understands how to treat his subordinates.
Mm-hmm.
Almost as though he ruled an entire empire of ravening demons.
Yeah. And she's become. I mean, like, at a minimum, she's a valuable employee. She's become one of his. In his mind, she's one of his followers.
Right.
And that's a big thing for him. He takes that very seriously. And it's very clear he does like her a lot. That, it's for him, it sort of almost comes off sort of, big brotherly, really.
Yeah.
But, it's definitely, he doesn't really have a romantic vibe from his end.
No.
No, he's not interested in her like that.
That's
to her credit, she realizes this early on, but it doesn't mean she's going to give up.
Right, and that, again, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, she says flatly, yeah, I know you probably think of me as just, your kohai and, just, your subordinate employee. And that it's very clear she knows that he does like her as a person.
Right.
That, she's his friend. And that's probably all she is.
Admittedly, that's one thing I found really refreshing in this. It's like, they avoid a lot of the typical anime tropes. It's like, okay, she does take a while to settle it in her own head, but she doesn't turn red, blow up, and float away, and and faint when he walks around. It's like, no, I'm okay. I'll just I need to do this over here now. Bye. And very genuine sort of ways to excuse herself until eventually she just has enough, and when she's actually finally admitted it to herself, which is the first part, she actually straight up admits to herself that she has feelings. She just out and in a conversation just gives him this speech about, I know I know how you feel. If that's all it is, great, but now you know.
Right. And, she flirts with him from time to time, and he sort of doesn't really pay attention to it. And she's always like, yeah, saw that coming. Not going to give up, but yeah. Oh, damn it.
Meanwhile, we have Emilia, who has taken the name of Emmy in the...
Emi Yusa.
In Japan. And she's a telemarketer. That's how she's getting her money. And she's my weekend to defeat Satan.
It was my weekend, and I end up seeing a scene set in a goddamn call center.
Sorry, Gav.
Hey, only true heroes work in a call center.
So yeah, she pursued him through the gate. She was going there. One of the priests from the church was flying along with her, but apparently the gate closed behind her before the priests could get through. So she came through to Japan alone. So she's got a job at a call center. She has a much nicer apartment than Satan does.
Yes.
I mean,
she works in the complaints department, so God knows they get paid well.
Yes. And she's obstinately there to defeat Satan, or at the very least keep an eye on him. Totally keeping an eye on him. Just shut up, I'm keeping an eye on him.
Stalking. You're stalking him.
Well, he's Satan. He's going to try to take over eventually. He's said as much. I had to stop him from rising through the ranks of McDonald's.
So at any rate, it's really
just say that sentence again in your head.
I know.
She never really tries to stop him from advancing within McDonald's.
Because she kind of quickly realizes that it's an idiot plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
She basically comes to the conclusion, like, all right, it's pretty clear you've actually made a life for yourself here, and you're doing nothing wrong. Honestly, if you can swear to me that that's all you're going to do, and you're not going to try to come back to Entire and do anything stupid like that, I give up. You can stay here. I'll leave you alone. And he's like, no, I'm totally going back to Entire. She's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, God damn it.
Fine. But yeah, their first encounter after she revealed herself, she pulls out, she's like, aha, I'll take you out. And she pulls out a knife, and he's like, did you get that knife at the dollar store? And she's like, shut up! Where's your holy sword?
Your holy
shut
sword,
up!
Can you?
You can't use magic either, can you?
God damn! Ah! And we have then basically get a Gilligan smash cut to the police station where they've been hauled in for just creating a disturbance. And the cops are admonishing her for, look, if you're having a disagreement with your boyfriend, don't pull a knife on him. She's like, wait, what? No!
No, he's not my boyfriend.
And the scene at the police station is hilarious because Mao is sort of going, yeah, I know it's idiotic. No, we're not an item. It's fine. And she's freaking out. He's like,
Yeah.
of course,
Furious.
Again, it's another little thing that I like because as young as he is, at least as he appears, he's very mature. He's very mature about it. And nothing like he doesn't get embarrassed or freaked out about silly little things, for the most part, at least. That most anime characters would. Mm-hmm. There are certain situations where when he gets angry or upset about something or someone's deliberately trying to embarrass him, then but if it's just somebody talking about like stuff like this, I know, okay, no, we're not like that, okay, that's fine, officer, okay, moving on.
And and she's freaking out because A, she's the hero and she's sworn to kill Satan, and B, she also lied on her ID about how old she is. She lied up though, so that she get the job she has.
She lied up.
Yeah.
She's like
18.
Yeah.
And she put herself as 25 or something like that.
Yeah. So she could get a proper job.
Yeah. Even looking at Ashy is like, who? I thought women in this world lied down on their age.
Shut up!
She's a strange one.
But yeah, she spends time sort of keeping an eye on them. Early on, she's got a friend at work who keeps asking her out, like, hey, why don't we go grab dinner together? And she's like, can't. I'm kind of busy. Oh, okay.
Hey, what about tonight? I can't. You're checking up on that boy again, aren't you? I am not.
So she's keeping. She spends her evenings stalking. Like, okay, all right, overhearing. So wait. Okay, Ashi's saying something about he needs Satan's abilities for a specific thing. It's a specific plan. Where they're going? They've gone to the grocery store for the special on eggs, and it's 1 carton per customer.
Yeah. Oh, the one about something about I can't remember the exact phrase, but he says something about I think he says a good bath.
We got to get to the baths, yeah.
She hears bloodbath.
Yes.
Follows them, and they're in the bathhouse, and so she's
in the public
in
bath, in the bathhouse.
So,
she's like, God, she's like, freak.
Oh, God damn it!
This is what leads up to like, okay, what the fuck's going on? What are you doing? You're Satan.
Oh, that's it. Because this is one of the few times I've ever heard anyone that's not English use the term bloody. He actually says, "God, I need a bloody bath."
Yes.
Right. So at any rate, eventually, the two of them, she has a big confrontation with him. Another confrontation with him, yelling and shouting at him, when they're attacked out of nowhere by magic bullets, literally bullets of magic.
Yep.
Yes.
And they're like, the fuck?
Bullets.
It's telekinesis, Holmes.
And so, they run away from this, and eventually, they eventually, like, okay, well, we don't know where the bullets are coming from, we gotta get away. They run away, and they end up at, the train station. Like, okay, great. Alright. Fine. There's someone here from Ent Isle who wants us both dead. The fuck? Whatever. There is
one thing we've skipped over there. The fall of his mighty steed Dullahan.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, he rides a bike that he's named Dullahan.
It's not a motorcycle.
It's a bicycle.
I don't even think it's a 10-speed.
It's not.
There's some great little pieces like where Ashia wants to go to the market. He's like, "Well, sir, can I borrow Dullahan?" He's like, "Okay, but be quick."
And Ashia is so enthused, like, "Yes, I get to ride Dullahan."
You see him pedaling off it as fast as he can.
Oh God. At any rate, so yeah. Eventually, but Emmy ends up following Mao home, and he's like, what are you still stalking him? She's like, yeah, I really, really, really hate to do this. Oh God, I hate this. Could I stay the night? I lost my wallet. I can't get the train home. And he's like, blink, blink. Okay, fine, sure.
Again, because he's mature and adult about these things. He's like, okay, fine.
It's like, yeah, fine. Yeah, fine. Ashia freaks out. He's like, what? What did you do? He's like, look, Ashia, she lost her wallet. She's just going to crash on the floor. She'll go in the morning. And he's like, okay, here's 1,000 yen for the train to get home tomorrow. Don't worry about it. Here's a blanket. If we don't have a spare futon, sorry. He doesn't actually apologize. He's like, don't think you're getting a spare futon because we don't have one.
Here's some magazines. And there
if you need a pillow, use one of the magazines.
Use your jacket.
One of those giant sort of Shonen. It's basically a copy issues of Weekly Shonen Jump. He's gotten there.
Yeah.
Those big collections. So she's like, oh my god, this is so.
We don't even have a futon for ourselves. You're not getting one of ours.
Well, they have futons. They have their own futons, but
right.
So she sleeps. She leaves in the morning. Takes the key, locks the door from the outside, opens the window, and drops it back in. Which leads to a wonderful little.
Huh. I would have kept it.
Like Satan's
like, what would you have done? Well, I would have kept the puck. The key.
Yeah. She was like, why is there a key on the floor?
And Satan explains exactly.
It was probably Emmy. She probably just locked the door and dropped it in on her way out. Why? What would you done? I'd have kept it.
You are a demon. Thank you, my lord. So yeah, the next sort of what all throughout the early episodes where we got this sort of little sort of mini conflict between Emmy and Satan, Emmy and Mao, and Chi's sort of Chi's been hearing voices, and there have been minor earthquakes going on. Also, we keep hearing news reports about muggings and break-ins and stuff etc. in the area. This all actually pays off together. What first happens is Emmy and Mao both realize that someone's after them, and Chio tells Mao about the fact that she's hearing these voices that are basically, and when she hears them, it's not long before one of the earthquakes happens, and she basically basically comes to him for advice on this, and he's like, okay, sure. Yeah, sure. What? I'm free tomorrow. Yeah, we could meet up and hang out. And you can tell me what you need to tell me. And she's like, okay, sweet, yes. And so she goes to the salon, gets her hair done, gets some new shoes, and puts on a cute dress to meet up with him. Which leads to this wonderful scene before that of after Mao tells Ashia about this, and Ashia's like, okay, fine, right. You're going out in public effectively on a date with one of your coworkers. You cannot go out wearing those clothes.
Right.
What's wrong with my clothes? What is it? What's the brand that he always wears?
I forget what the brand is.
It's not a good brand.
No, it's a cheap brand, but it's like I can't remember the name of the brand, but it's like don't you besmirch my name or the name of the good company, blah blah blah.
Yep. So Ashia basically goes, okay, this, not quite. And he basically comes up with a actually fairly decent looking outfit for him.
Yeah.
Because Ashia knows fashion, apparently.
Yes.
He's like, fine.
But that's one of the things I like, because Mao gets really upset when you question something that he really likes. Yes. And he really likes this really cheap-ass brand. So it's like, no, you can't go and meet her wearing nothing but that. And he's like, he goes almost, the animation makes him huge. He's towering over Ashia, eyes aflame. He's like, I'm sorry, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's not good for a date. He's like, take it back. Uniqlo, that's it.
Yep.
Uniqlo.
Yeah,
yes.
It's some parody of that. Yeah, Fourth Aid. Thank you.
Yeah, basically, it's Uniqlo. It's like, don't you take that back. Don't say anything bad about the good company Uniqlo. Oh dear.
Oh my God.
No idea how to dress for these things. Come along, master.
So they meet up, and of course Ashia follows to keep an eye on things, and
because of course he does.
As does Emmy. She sort of stumbles across them. She stumbles actually.
The best part is Ashia's there watching them, and Emmy shows up to spy on them, and they catch each other spying on them.
To be honest, one of my favorite parts of this whole show, one of my favorite jokes of this whole show, and just because I'm a child. Basically, you've got Ashia is spying, watching, and seeing what's going on with his Lord and Master, and Emmy being Hume. I can't believe she actually fell for him.
Right.
I mean, obviously she doesn't know what he is, but I mean, geez, look at her. She's like going all out on this. She's had her hair done. She's wearing this dress that shows off all. Oh my God, she's huge.
Yes. And
She's
like, what? Nothing. Just they don't mean anything. Size isn't everything.
Big one's getting in the way on the battlefield.
You can't swing a sword properly. What the hell are you talking about?
Shut up. It's an overused trope, but yeah, Emmy is relatively flat-chested.
But the way the line that she has when she's like, oh, the dress, it's a form fit, very nicely cut dress. It fits well, shows off her. Oh my God, she's huge.
Yes.
But they do it in such a way where it's like, okay, they're doing the usual trope, all the way, blah 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 blah. But it's still Chio.
Right.
So you still can't. She can't hate her for it.
Yeah.
So it's like she's jealous, and she has that little bit of insecurity. This is like the first time we've ever seen any kind of insecurity out of Emmy.
Yeah.
Right.
And
she's jealous, but she can't. She still can't be mad at Chio. No one can.
Get mad at Chio. No one's ever mad at Chio. It's impossible to be mad at Chio.
So yeah. So basically, she says, "Okay, well, here's what we're gonna do. We need to find out what's going. We both are trying to find out what's going on. Why don't we just go into the freaking the cafe where they are, and just eavesdrop?" And Ashia's like, "Wait, we can't do that. No, come back. No, fine. I'll go in
Son
there."
of a bitch.
And this is where Chio's telling him about the stuff and about the earthquakes and the voices, and he's like, "Okay, so Satan basically, okay, I think I know what's going on here. I can't tell her exactly what's going on because, that would give things away. But I have to reassure her because, he's like, don't worry about things, it's everything's fine. I wouldn't worry about the voices thing. It happens. Don't worry about it. And the earthquakes, I'm sure, are nothing big. At which point, and she, and Chio's basically trying to work up the guts to say that she likes him at this point. When Emmy comes by to warn her off of him. She basically comes by and basically tell Chio, like, look, you don't want to have anything to do with this guy. This guy's scum. And Satan's like, what the fuck?
Hey.
And Chio's like, wait. You two know each other, don't you? And she's like, Emmy's like, did you two used to date? She's like, no! Leading to comedic misunderstanding, etc. And Chio basically say, look, I don't care if you don't like...
Yeah, she's trying to explain it's like there's a history between us. It's not that.
Yeah, we'd never dated. It's complicated. Shut up.
And, just as things are about to, the argument is reaching its sort of humorous peak, because it looks like it's about just before it overstays its welcome is when the earthquake hits.
Yes.
And it's a serious earthquake. So, they're in an underground mall, so like the place is sort of collapsed down on top of like almost everybody. And we get to see Emmy and Chio are basically alone together. They're both, neither of them are hurt, and they're in sort of a pocket of debris. And Emmy basically takes the time to. Emmy has, again, they talk briefly, and Emmy immediately, like, it's Chio. She's like immediately takes a liking to this young girl. She's like, yeah, okay, she's a sweet kid.
Right.
No, seriously, there's nothing between me and Mao. Don't worry about it. I don't recommend you get together in the middle. Only lead to heartbreak, but that's all I'm going to say. Also, and like, Chio's sort of looking over the other woman. She's like, don't worry about it. He's fine. I can. This sort of collapse is not going to kill him.
Bao is fine. This isn't going to kill him. It would be too embarrassing.
And she was like, "Yep, I know he's alive. I can almost sense it." And she's like, "Really? Okay." At which point, she basically is like, "Okay, yeah, things are gonna." Emmy started looking around. She's like, "Okay, yeah, Chio, why don't you?" She used a little bit of sacred power to put her to sleep for a little while. At which point, the rubble shifts, and Satan sort of, in his full sort of, demonic form is like, "Yep, thanks for doing that. So she doesn't see this. Right." And Emmy's like, "Dear Lord, you got your power back." And he's like, "Yeah, apparently. Don't know how, but I'm back in my actual form, my actual normal body." Right. And Emmy's like, "Oh God. Okay, I might have just enough sacred power to form my sword and take him out right now. Right. You take care of Chio. I'll get us out of here." And she's like, "What?
What?
As he proceeds to
she's
basically...
a valuable underling. I can't have her just leave her here."
As he proceeds, not just that, he basically proceeds to, dig everybody out and save as many people as possible.
Yep. There are, no casualties because he, threw up a force field on people.
Yeah. And Emmy is completely baffled by this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's burned a stupid amount of magic saving a bunch of people he didn't need to.
Yep.
Even Ashy is powered up at this point as well, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, he goes back to get his cape.
Yeah, he does.
Because Ashy is awesome.
To go retrieve his mantle.
So at any rate, and she basically, why did you, what? She's completely baffled by this. And it eventually leads, she goes home with her coworker who sees her there and, make sure that she's okay. Chio goes off. The cops approach Chio and checks in with her because her dad is actually a cop. Turns out her dad's actually the cop who brought Satan in, and
brought Mao in.
The one who
Mao
hypnotized
Nasio
her.
in.
The one Mao hypnotized. Yeah, that's actually her dad. And he's like, "Oh, okay." So basically, his theory on the whole sort of voices thing is that somebody from Enta Isle is looking for them and using sort of magical resonance pulses. And the reason it's affecting her is that, because he, his theory is that, okay, well, it's the guy I hypnotized daughter, so it's like my magic sort of was used on him, and that sort of indirectly sort of affected her. Right. Well, hopefully nothing bad will come of this. I'll have to be careful about stuff.
Right.
We find out later exactly why it was affecting her, and it's far funnier.
Yes.
Yes.
Far, far funnier.
And immensely sweeter.
Yes. So, yeah, not long after this, basically, Emmy shows up after sort of talking with her friend, shows up at Mao's place to basically sort of say, "Okay, look, the fuck? You're Satan. Why are you saving people?" And he's like, and especially considering you're the one, it's like, on your orders, Lucifer came in his army, swept in and killed my father, and wiped in his farm and destroyed everything I loved and cared about. What the fuck? And he's like, Lucifer's like, I don't know. I guess I've gotten to know what humans are now. I didn't know them before. All I can say is I'm sorry. It's like, I didn't do it myself. It was my general, was Lucifer, but, that's kind of a cop-out.
That's kind of cop-out. He's my underling. He's my responsibility.
And Emmy's, like, sort of freaking out, at which point, Ashi has gone out at this point to go shopping, and he comes back quickly because Chio's shown up with, something. She showed up with, like, a gift for Mao as, thank you, and...
It's like, it's like cookies or, like, lunch or something.
I think it was cookies or something like that. And, like, she sees, like, Emmy sort of sitting there, having a heart-to-heart with him. And she's like, oh, God. There really is something. She's like, okay, fine. And she leaves, like very quickly and distraught. But she sort of gets the wrong impression. And they're like, oh, for fuck's sake. We'll have to reassure her later. At which point, the landlady shows up, and she's like, yeah, that young girl went by. She's off going that way. And I forget how she phrases it. But she basically makes it very clear she knows what's up with the crew, that they're from somewhere else, and that they use that magic is involved. And if you're not careful, something bad might happen to that sweet young girl, and that would be really unfortunate, wouldn't it, Mr. Mao? And he's like, yeah, we should probably go do something about it. At which point we see, Chio sort of running down the street, completely distraught.
Right.
Just despairing. And at which point of a sort of a lanky, sort of average height, this guy shows up, long dark hair, etc., and eventually revealing that he's got, big black feathery wings. So talking about how, she's fallen into despair more easily than he thought she would, etc., blah, blah, blah. And our here, Ashia, Mao, and Emmy show up, and they're confronted with him, and they're like, "Wait, who the fuck is?" And Mao's like, "Oh, fuck, it's you." And Emmy's like, "Wait, who the fuck? Wait, no! I killed you, Lucifer. I know I did." Because it's Lucifer,
one of the four generals.
One of the four generals, and he's teamed up with the priest who's supposed to have come through the gate with Emmy.
Turns out he's a dirty double-crossing bastard too.
Yep.
Well, yes. They've teamed up here to basically, Obermeyer, the priest in question, has basically made a deal with him. Basically, yeah, I'll make sure you can get back into heaven. In exchange, you help me kill off Mao, kill off Satan, Alciel, and Emmy, because Emmy has to die here and die fighting Satan, so that the church can get the proper credit it deserves.
Yeah, because if there's one thing better than a hero, it's a martyr.
Yep,
exactly. Because living heroes have a nasty tendency to get in the way of our evil agendas.
Yeah, because who knew the fucking church are the ones responsible for half the bullshit going on?
Yep.
Who would have guessed a giant monolithic bureaucracy would do bad things?
Yeah. So the fight starts, and also, and we hear Lucifer basically telling Emmy, not telling Emmy, telling Chio basically about the sort of monologuing about gathering power from the human misery and such, and he basically starts monologuing to Satan, and Satan basically proceeds to finish his monologue for him, and point out that, look, dude, that's lame. That's a lame speech. Like, they do a better job for that sort of thing in B movies.
To which
is funny, because I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah, the funniest part of it though is during all of this, Alcia's like, wait.
When have you had time to go see a B movie? And how much money did you spend?
Yeah.
And Mao's like, I have my own allowance that I can for spending money I can spend on what I like.
I'm cutting your allowance.
What? At which point, Lucifer basically energy blats Alciel's, and he collapses. Like, at least if you're going to the theater, go at the start of the month on the discount days.
He's got a hole in him. He's still talking about.
So cue, our heroes running away. Mao carrying Alciel and Emmy running alongside. Mao gets hit by one of Lucifer's death beams, and it goes through his leg. He's like, "Ah, God, human bodies are so fragile. I mean, I know that, but ah."
Yeah. And then, as has become my catchphrase for a lot of these shows we're watching, as per usual, the antagonist done fucked up.
Yes. So basically, they're fighting, and Mao's like, "Okay, fine, I've got it." He's about to fight, and Mao's like, "Got a plan. All right." So he teleports away from Lucifer, and Lucifer's like, "Fuck, where'd they go?" And he reappears at at the near the big train station where there's been a bunch of explosions such going on, so emergency personnel showing up, and Emmy's like, "Did he teleport here to get to be sure he's near EMTs and such? What the hell's going on?" And Lucifer shows up and blats him through the chest, and opens a big hole in him, and he's like, "Oh,
yeah.
God, thud." Right through his chest.
There is one last bit just before that. He's still taunting Satan, is Lucifer.
Yep.
And he basically puts the squeeze on Chio, and she's like, and you can tell at that moment, she wails out and all this sort of stuff. And it's at that moment that, as I mentioned, Satan's got a plan.
Yep.
And Lucifer just fucked up.
Yep. So
we should mention that the earthquake let them discover that fear, terror, other negative emotions power up demons' magic.
Yeah, well, that's the as I was mentioning. That's what what Lucifer is saying to
Lucifer explains it. Yeah.
Right.
He monologues about that to them. Honestly, like Mao would figure it out. Emmy hadn't. And so basically he blats Mao and proceeds to basically start breaking shit so he can take out Emmy. And basically it starts collapsing this overpass. It's like, and at which point the overpass stops falling, and then kick-ass music starts playing.
Yes.
Yes. Fucking love. It's already in my favorites list. It's and aptly, it's called "The Devil Regains His Power."
Yeah.
Yes.
As we cut to the overpass stops collapsing, and we cut to Mao back in full demon form, sort of magically holding it up, and he's like, "All right, yep, got my juice back. All right, Emmy, could you take him out? This is sort of hard to hold up." And she's like, "I'm not going to do what you want me to do." Seriously? Now you're going to be arguing this point?
That was not the time for you to do whatever the hell you're doing. Just do the thing.
Please, I'm asking you for a favor here. And she's like, "I'm not going to do any favors for you. However, I have unfinished business with Lucifer." And so she summons her sword and some armor and goes after him.
Boots and gloves. She gets boots and gloves.
That's all she can summon currently. Yeah. So she goes after him, and she goes flying up after him with her magic sword, the sacred sword, better half. And Lucifer's like, "Okay, Olba, help here!" And Olba's like, "I've got to save the power to open the gate." Yeah, if she kicks our asses, we won't be able to open the gate either. And Olba's like, "That's a fair point."
That's a fair point.
And
so he starts getting involved. At which point,
Ashia shows back up.
And she's like, "Wait, you're okay again?" He's like, "Well, yeah, Mao, the master was gracious enough to grant me to heal me and give me some power to fight with on my own. So, yeah, I'll handle Olba. You handle Lucifer."
Okay.
Cute big fight scene going on as Mao's like, "Okay, yep," and during all this, Emmy's put a force field over Chio to make sure she's okay. And Mao has basically stopped time in the area so that nobody can see this going on.
Right.
Because he's picked up a lot of juju from all the people being horribly terrified.
Yeah. He is obscenely powerful.
Yes.
So
when he's got a mana battery.
He sort of starts slowly lowering the overpass safely and gets it down safely. Okay. Yep, that's all good. And Chio's looking up like, Mao-san? And she's like, "Yep. Oh, hi. Yeah."
I got fuzzy feet now.
This seems kind of lame. What I've been doing seems so far, I'm the devil, and this seems kind of, I'm on the side. This seems kind of lame. Probably, I think it's time for me to get involved. So,
Lucifer!
He pops up directly in front of Lucifer.
He just appears right in front of his face. He's like, "Hi."
"Hi, Lucifer." And Lucifer's like, "Oh, shit." It was this moment that Lucifer knew that he'd done fucked up.
Yes. He doesn't even try to escape as Satan basically gives him his punishment. And he's got this attack where basically he winds his fist back and a magical circle appears behind it to power it up before he punches.
Goes back a half mile, just all these
at least a
circles.
half mile, just magical circles. Oh, he's taking a fucking run up.
It's a rocket punch. It's a magic rocket punch, is what it is.
Yeah, you never actually see it land. You just see the magical circles going off into infinity. And the next scene it cuts to is just
this column of light from Earth orbit.
Yeah, and then Lucifer just covered in bruises, bumps, lumps, and he's just a massive ow.
And Olba's been knocked out and is unconscious. So at this point, we see that we've been seeing that two people from Enta Isle who are coming to help out. They've been trying to find Emmy and have been coming along through the gate. Let me get their names.
It's the usual trope. They were trying to come through to warn her about Olba.
Right.
They were. That's what they were. They've been the one. They were the ones who were doing the pings, trying to find, like, they were causing the earthquakes. They weren't meaning to, but that was what was happening. And they found the heiress. They're coming in through the gate. It was what are their names?
Emeralda.
Yeah, Emeralda, Etuva, and Albertio Ende.
Yeah.
Right.
They come through basically like, yep, and there's using bits with Ende basically, being gate sick during the trip.
Yes.
It's like, oh god, I feel ill. No, we gotta go faster. That's fine. I'll be all right. I'll be all right. But they arrive after the fight's over because, of course,
they arrive. Give their message. It's like, oh, you already know.
Well, we should give you the details exactly. Like what's going on at home.
Well, we're gonna go back then.
So everyone goes, like, basically they all go back to Mao's place to fill in to basically debrief. As Mao basically, yep, all right, time to fix shit, and he basically burns almost all his leftover magic on repairing, basically undoing everything that happened during the battle.
Yeah, his time bubble basically. He undoes the time bubble and everything fixes.
He repairs everything, fits everything, and he goes back. Then he goes back, and so like, Ende and Ituva are talking in Enta Isle speak, and Chio's following along perfectly fine.
Yeah, she's like, okay, yeah, this makes sense.
No, but she's like, she says, she mentions, like, you're not speaking in Japanese, but I understand you. And he's like, really? He's like, you're the guy who was talking to me, the voice I heard. He's like, oh, so you heard that too? That's really odd. Because we were channeling the spell to our resonancy to find the mind of somebody, to communicate with, somebody who was constantly thinking about, thinking about Satan.
Constantly thinking about Satan. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's like, oh. They found Emmy. They found Emilia. They found Chio instead of Emmy because Emmy was busy, not always thinking about Satan because there were times she was, working.
She's got a job,
Chio was a 16-year-old girl who was falling in love with somebody.
Yeah.
She's a teenager who's fallen in love with somebody. Not just a 16-year-old girl. She's a teenager in love. Of course they're thinking about him constantly.
Right.
It's like... So yeah, and that resolves sort of the first minor arc. They end up taking Lucifer in, and basically, as another sort of lodger there. He ends up going by the name of Hanzo Urushihara.
I'm just gonna call him Lucifer because there's no way I'm gonna be able to pronounce those names.
What, Urushihara?
Urushihara. Haushububa.
You're really bad at Japanese names, Eric.
I am terrible at Japanese names. Also, I've been drinking.
Fair point. And we get to know Urushihara pretty well. And Gav commented early on after what Lucifer was revealed that being Lucifer in the anime we've been watching usually doesn't go very well for Lucifer.
No. The only one who outdoes them is anyone called Beelzebub.
Right. And I commented that it does not go exactly as you would think. Yes, he gets his ass kicked. But then we find out who Lucifer really is. Yeah, he's a neat.
He's a neat.
Yeah.
He's a total shitty neat.
He's
really good with computers.
Yeah, they move him in because there's now 3 of them living in this little box room. They buy him a computer, hook him up to the internet, and that's pretty much where he stays.
Yes.
And he's entirely happy with it.
Yeah.
I don't have to talk with people. This is awesome.
He learns about online shopping.
Yep.
It's a little bit too much.
And so yeah, we get to know him, and he's socially awkward, smart, lazy.
Profoundly lazy.
There is a great little scene though where they've got them all around again and they're all trying to they're all talking and the rest of it. And there's a pile. The scene shows what looks like just a pile of boxes in the corner, and you think it's like all this ramen and shit that they've had delivered. Noodles. And no, it turns another angle. No, it's basically where Urashihara's built himself a little room.
Yes.
Yep.
He just takes a shitload of boxes together and just hides in it.
It's a bunch of empty udon noodle boxes, which are there for a reason. Because the other major character shows up at this point.
Yes.
Who is also from Enta Isle. She's another human. She basically was. She's an inquisitor.
Yeah.
She works for the church. She's basically a church assassin. And she used to work for Olba Meyer.
It takes a little while for that to be revealed, but it's pretty obvious considering she's like, yeah, I'm from the country. That's why I'm always wearing a kimono. And I don't own any Western clothing.
Speak with very outdated Japanese.
Yes.
Yeah.
She ends up going by the name of Suzuno Kamazuki. Suzuno is what she's referred to always.
I really like Suzuno, I want to say.
Oh god, she's great.
She's so fucking naive. It's unreal. It's like it's like that trope of like the alien that gets all his gets all his information about Earth from 60-year-old TV broadcasts.
Yes.
That's literally what's happened, basically.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I read all, like, someone calls her and says, no, I read all about Japan, particularly the Edo period.
Well, she was, okay, I found out where you guys were staying, and I basically did research based on the stuff that there was the most information on, which was the Edo period, and there was a bunch of televised programs about that period, so that's stuff I went for. I'm really fond of she please list off a whole bunch of famous, samurai series.
Because of course she did. She's an inquisitor.
But yeah, she's
like, yeah, I'm helping them out because they're my neighbors, because she lives in the apartment next door now.
Yeah, she moves in next door.
Yeah, I helped them out because that's what I should do, and I had all these extra noodles because reasons, and Asha is sick, so they need someone to cook because none of them can cook worth a damn, so I'm cooking.
Yeah, she basically says that she budgeted for herself when she moved in. She didn't know how long she was going to be there and bought far too many noodles, so brought around like a case for them. Yeah.
She bought like a pallet's worth, and it's like, yeah, they're going to go bad if someone doesn't eat them. These guys might as well. So everyone figures out she's into Isle pretty quickly, but it's not revealed to this audience for a while.
Yeah, actually, no, we figured it out before Emmy does.
Everyone figures it out before Emmy does, because I love Emmy, but she's not terribly bright sometimes.
Not to like skip and spoil, but there's a section right at the end where she finally reveals. I mean, we've all known, we've seen the backstory, we know. And there's a whole such section at the end where she finally reveals herself to Mao, and he's like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Wait.
But you think some cute single girl's going to start hanging out some poor-ass bachelor pad all the time?
Yeah. Cute single girl who seems horribly out of place and doesn't really know what's going on around her just suddenly shows up and starts cooking for three
shut-in bachelors? Yeah, no way.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's here to basically she's come to Japan to basically see. There's been rumors that since Obama, like the rumors have leaked back about because the two Emmy's two friends went back, and so there's rumors about Obermeyer having gone apostate and that the hero's still alive and all stuff, and then Satan's there. So the church has basically sent her to go and see if go and we think that the hero's working with the devil, so go and confirm that, and then take them out. And she shows up, and she's like,
Yeah, it's neither true nor false.
Yeah,
right. And so she's basically there. So Emmy shows up one day, after she shows up, and she's there cooking, helping, she answers the door because she's helping out with the housework because Ashi is sick. And Emmy's like, the fuck? Who are you? And she's like, oh, I just moved in next door. I'm helping them out. Ashia's sick. And she actually...
He's got, like, heat stroke or something stupid like that, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ashia Dono's sick, so I'm helping out. Oh, Shiro Dono, actually. She's very formal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yeah, and she watches this, like, as she's talking to Mao, and Emmy's like, okay, she's very focused on him. Oh, fuck, did she fall for Mao too? I gotta warn her off also. I gotta warn her off at least. And, like, they proceed to talk, and we have this wonderful conversation where she's basically trying to warn her off, and the two of them completely misunderstand each other.
Yeah.
Because
Suzuno's like, okay, clearly she knows, she picked up on what I am, and she's warning me about, like, how ridiculously powerful he is, and I should just keep back and keep my distance and just watch from there. Get ready to support her when she makes her move.
Right.
Well, Emmy's like, okay, this chick's crushing on Mao too, because for some reason everyone does. So I just need to warn her off so that everyone stops being an idiot. There's no hope for Chio, but I can keep this poor girl from falling in the same trap.
But yeah, eventually they reveal they figure it out, like in the middle of a train station. They're both like, the fuck? I thought you knew. How the hell would I know? What? The best part is this is where Suzuno basically says to her, what? Did you think some girl from the sticks dressed like a Japanese woman from ancient Japan would show up out of nowhere and then start cooking and hanging out with 3 bachelors? Are you serious? That never happens. What is this, an anime? and he's like, She basically gives the exact same argument that Mao gives to her later.
Yeah.
Why he's known the whole time. He's like, what, do you think I'm an idiot? And she's like, yeah, he's Satan. He probably would have seen through that. He's not an idiot. I mean, and after, like, Emmy calms her down and says, okay, look, I'm not going after Satan right now for a lot of reasons. Not the least of which is he's different. And, I mean, eventually I might. If I have to, I absolutely will. I have no qualms about it. The second he shows he's actually really doing something that he needs to be smacked down for, I'll kill him. No problem. But he's different now.
Not doing that. He's not doing what he did.
Something weird's going on. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what it is. And she, like, and Suzuno's like, okay, look, why don't you take him down and we can go back and we can reestablish your good name so it's no longer tarnished by the church. And Emmy's like, I don't give a flying fuck about what the church thinks, what people back in the aisle think of me. That's not why I do what I did. Like, my reputation doesn't matter. What matters is doing the right thing, and killing him right now isn't the right thing as far as I can tell. And she basically says, look, okay.
I was like, what?
Yeah, she's very confused by this. And Emmy also basically tells her, okay, look, just keep it in check for now. But yeah, do keep an eye on him. Don't trust him. He's still Satan, and he's a lot cleverer than he lets himself look like. Look. Which he is. But yeah, Suzuno is, she's one of my favorite characters in the show.
Yeah, Suzuno's great.
She's the quietest character in the show, but she's very. I mean, she's very much that juxtaposition. She's very different to the rest of the cast.
Right, she's very.
In that she's the only one that's very reserved.
She's reserved and calculating and has a very cool head on her shoulders, but she's also very naive and just totally misses a lot of stuff.
But yeah, so they, she meets, she eventually meets Chio, and unsurprisingly ends up basically Shio basically decides, she's going to be my friend now. And,
Yes.
you know, and Suzuno's like, wow, wow, she's a really sweet kid. And she's in love with the devil. Oh, dear. This is not going to go well. I'll watch out for her and make sure nothing bad happens to her. But, you know, we eventually, you know, so basically, you know, shenanigans happen. You know, they eventually have their big sort of I'm trying to think of exactly. So I don't want to go into full detail of the last episode. The last arc is basically in the series starts off with basically the Kentucky Fried Chicken moving into the area, and the
fuck is going on?
The midget manager of the place. God, what's his?
Hello.
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 All right, my internet was doing very strange things there for a while.
I'm sorry.
The manager's name is Mitsuke Saru.
Yes, Saru, yeah.
Mitsuki Saru.
Yeah, so Mitsuki, he's, you know, this short, blue-haired dude who always wears sunglasses and reeks of cologne.
Yes.
Yeah.
And fawns over the pretty ladies in the area.
Complete creeper.
Yeah,
creep.
not even just like being smooth about it. He's a creeper. He's trying to be smooth about it. He's like stereotypical neckbeard smooth about it.
Oh, he is. Whoa. He's terrible. Like every girl that you see him like you know try to play up to, I'll walk away from like
yeah,
no.
They're like no, that was double plus on good.
Yeah. Also, at about this time, Emmy's coworker has decided that okay, this whole thing with you and Mao. Okay, and you're trying to keep this girl away from Mao also. Okay, there's clearly something going on between the two of you. We're gonna go talk to him and find out. And Emmy's like, but no. And eventually, they basically before going to see him at his job at McDonald's, they go to the Kentucky Fried Chicken so they can have a little powwow first, where they run across Ashia.
Because of course they do.
Because Ashia has been sent in to spy on Kentucky Fried Chicken by Mao to basically find out exactly what it is that they've been doing that's attracted all their customers away from McDonald's.
Which he's only too glad to do, despite the budgetary concerns.
Well, he's like, no, I don't want to do this. And no, we can't. I can't afford that. It'd be terrible. We can't afford that. It'd be terrible. Look, it's important it's an important part of my plan. We need to be able to not like. We can't lose, like, McDonald's can't lose them. That would be really bad. Like, I might get reassigned to Greenland.
No, not Greenland.
Yeah, that's one of the threats that keeps getting passed around.
So, Ashiel's like, okay, fine, but I will do it as thriftily as possible. And Mao's like, great, awesome. I'm totally down with that. We don't have a lot of money. And so, like, Ashia sees them. He sees them and ignores them until Emmy starts really laying into how crappy she thinks Mao is, and he's like, "All right, I can't take it anymore. Stop insulting the head of my household.
Stop insulting the master."
Yeah.
I can only take so much disrespect to Mao-san, and she's like, what are you doing here? Here investigating Kentucky Fried Chicken for Mao-san. And she's like,
Clearly.
Okay, look, Ashia, this is a matter of pride for you guys too. Would you explain to my friend here that Mao and I are not a thing and never have been and never will be? And Ashia proceeds to spend.
Well, I suppose I should divulge the secrets of our history. So you see, back when we were younger, and proceeds to come up with this great fabrication.
It's a great thing that it's a fabrication, but none of it is false.
Yes. We ran a company together.
Focusing on land and manpower.
Personnel reassignment.
Yeah, human resources. Yeah.
And Emmy worked for our major competitor.
In construction.
And it's a wonderful story. It's again, it is filled with a lot. It's based on the truth, but it is fabricated to fit into modern Japan.
Yeah.
And she says, and yeah, Emmy checks in us from time to time. Is sort of mostly just because she kind of feels sorry for former competitors. I guess I don't know.
But all we want is to restart our company and have a business.
And so Emmy's friend is like, "Oh, so there really is anything between you and Mao?" And Ashia's like, "No, of course not." And he basically is being earnest and charming and friendly, and you get this sort of sensation that Emmy's friend is like, "Okay, he's cute and being really friendly." I kind of dig this guy. Oh God, nope, gotta get my head back in the game. And Emmy casts his glance at her like, "Oh God, is she gonna fall for Ashia? For fuck's sake, what is going on here?"
Goddamn demons!
It's almost like the two of them are both Mao and both Mao and Ashia are charismatic and charming guys, despite the fact that they're remarkably down on their luck.
Yeah.
So yeah, they go over to McDonald's to sort of investigate, because her friend was like, "Okay, clearly you've got all these very competent people around you. I have to see who this Mao guy is now. Like, I know you're not in a relationship. That's fine. Don't care. Not important. But he's clearly an important person in your life. I got to see what this guy's like." And initial impressions are not good because Mao is sort of, off his game because Emmy's shown up out of nowhere. And, the two of them do sort of kind of get along like, a match in gasoline to a certain degree. I mean, it's very clear they don't, at least on the surface, don't like each other.
Right.
They respect each other. It's got to the point where they still don't like each other, but they respect and sort of admire certain aspects of what each other are good at. And they are capable of working together. It need be.
I'd argue that they actually get along, but it's a sort of antagonistic friendship. Like, they are fond of each other. It's just a sort of like, fuck you. Yeah, fuck you too, bro.
Kinda. I don't know. It's hard to tell, honestly, because it's not... it's hard for me to tell because it's not... If it had been written in English, I think... Like, if the actual original dialogue had been written in English and had been written from a Western point of view, I'd be more certain of that either way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's one of those situations where they become friends, but they don't actually know it.
Yo, I think that's almost certainly true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No,
Yeah.
that's clear. They don't... It's not an indication that they don't want to admit friends. They don't recognize that they become friends at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not a sort of like, no, I couldn't possibly be friends with him. It's, no, I couldn't possibly be friends with this asshole. No, I'll help you move
See you
short.
next week.
No.
See you next week.
See you next week. Yeah, no, you need help moving short. Fine, fuck you. I'll help you, I guess. No one else will. Fine. That sort of thing. At any rate.
I'll murder you in your sleep. I will flay this meat from your bones. Want to go get a sandwich? Okay.
So at any rate, at which point, the things that the plan that Mao had to basically bring customers back, actually the things he needed for it eventually show up, and it works brilliantly. Although he actually does use magic for some of it. It's implied he didn't intend to do so.
Yeah, it was sort of a subconscious thing.
There's a festival going on in the street outside, and he basically decides to dress the store up. And it's the sort of thing where it's like the wishing wall kind of thing. It's like people write their wishes on a piece of paper and attach it to a tree.
Hello?
Gav cut out there.
Okay.
So yeah.
So it wasn't just me. Okay.
Nope. So yeah, they write their wishes on little things and they hang it on the trees, and this ends up accidentally creating magic for Mao to make the place more attractive to customers. So yeah. Oh boy. So yeah. This is both Emmy and Suzuno are like, not pleased about
Definitely
this.
using magic. That's not cool.
But and we eventually figure out later. We're eventually real later on that that Emmy's like, okay, he used magic, but he's doing it in a remarkably non-harmful manner, and it's really just nothing big to be worried about. And Susan was like, he's using magic at all, and he's doing it for his own personal benefit, and he's gonna get okay. So Gav's PC apparently restarted itself. He'll be right back.
Goddamn stealth updates.
Well, all right then.
Live.
Live, everybody. We do record this live for those of you who are listening to the recording. So yeah, Satan, yeah.
So yeah, Suzuno's all like, you can't have people using magic, particularly not him. So, yeah, she's not happy about it. Emmy's twitchy about it, but it's clear he did so unintentionally. So,
yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, so, yeah, I'm trying to figure where I want to go next. So, after this, basically his boss comes in. The next day, his boss comes in and basically says, "All right, one of my, the people, one of my fellow managers in the chain. She works at the chain at the amusement park. She's short staffed. She asked me to help out and send like one of my best employees to help out. And that's you, Mao." And he's like, when she first mentioned she's sending him over there, he's like, "Oh my God, what did I do wrong? I didn't want to go to Greenlight." She said, "No. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Don't worry." And he's like,
I'm showing you off.
He's like, "Oh, okay. Sorry, misunderstood." She's like, "No problem." And Chio's like, "Ooh, can I'm more than help." And she's like, "No, we're only Mao's going." And she's like, "Oh, wait, I've got the day off that day.
Amusement park and hang out with Mao."
Well, I can't go and hang out with him at work, but I have the day off, so I can go to the amusement park and check in on him. And it's one of those amusement parks that's got like a pool and stuff. And ooh, I've got an idea.
Yeah, it's a water park basically.
It's a water park. I've got a great idea. And so she eventually calls. She calls
Emmy and Suzuno.
Well, she calls Emmy specifically, and asks Emmy like, I want to go and go to the park and hang out and stuff, but going on my own would seem kind of lame. You want to go? And Emmy's like, "I got the day off. Sure, sounds like fun." Because they've become actually close friends at this point.
Yes, they're droogs.
Yeah. Suzuno overhears Mao and Ashia and Ushihara talking about the place. And Ushihara is like talking about, they've just opened up a new haunted house and have a reptile exhibit. You might be able to farm a little bit of magic there while you're there, sire. And she's like, "Ooh, that'd be terrible.
Can't have them have magic."
At least I got to make sure he's not up to anything in particular. Because Mao's like, "Yeah, probably. If I've got time, I'll see if I can scarf some up somewhere." But I'm gonna be busy working, and they're like, yeah. And so she calls Emmy and is like, Mao's going to the amusement park. He's like, "Yeah, I heard about it from Chio." And she's like, "Really?" "Yeah, Chio and I are going." And Suzuno's like, "Well, yeah, I'm gonna come along with you because I need to keep an eye on him." And she's like, "Yeah, fine, I'll let Chio know. No big deal." There's a wonderful scene with Chio in her bedroom, deciding on what swimsuit she's going to wear.
Yes.
And being all sort of just hilariously ecstatic about the one she's picked out. It's adorable.
Because she's just adorable.
Yes. eventually they get to the park, and they all put on their bathing suits, and we're focused on Emmy, and she sort of turns around wearing sort of a coat over her bikini, and she turns around to see Chio bounding towards her with
Boingy, boingy, boingy.
Yeah, because Chio, as I mentioned, is very busty. And, yeah. Emmy's like, oh my god. And Chio thinks Emmy looks great. She's like, wow, you look so adult and mature and all that. And Emmy's like, thank you. She's complimenting. I know she's complimenting me.
She's freaking out, and it's intercut with, like, Chio comes bouncing over with her big old boobs, and it's intercut with Mao serving 2 double Big Macs.
Yeah. And then
Switches back to Emmy, intercut with Mao serving 2 single patty
cheeseburgers. And the thing is,
it's a great visual gag.
It's a great visual gag. And the thing I really like about the scene, though, is it's very clear that Chio thinks that Emmy is actually prettier than she is.
Yes.
Which I think is actually kind of cute.
Yeah.
Because she was like, yeah, I know what advantages I have, but Emmy is also gorgeous. It's like, wow, like it's like she just like she didn't really fully like. It's also like it's clear that Chio's like, wow, she's prettier than I thought she was. And then we cut to Suzuno wearing her traditional Japanese bathing suit.
Yes. It's like this tunic and like shorts. And
That's so hilarious.
Don't forget the hood
yes, and the hood.
and the diving goggles. Hello.
Okay, we need to fix this right away.
They eventually get her a one piece, but yeah. Oh my god. So yeah, they go wandering around the amusement park, around the park. They check out the haunted house, which freaks them all. Which different parts that freak them all, freak different groups. So there are 2 things. So one bit freaks Chio out, and she goes zooming by them at comical speeds. Right. And Emmy and Susan are like, oh crap, we gotta go find her. And they go running forward. It's like, wow, how fast can that girl run? And they eventually find another. They find a girl. It's like, is that Chio? No, it's a different girl. And the girl's crying. Like, are you all right, little girl? And she's like, I got separated from my mother. And like, oh, she's like, I'm lost. Mother's gone. And they're like, what? And like, it starts repeating itself. Starts talking faster and faster and faster. And they're like, what's going on? And then like the face reveals this horrible sort of fake, animatronic face. And like, oh, there you are, mother. Cut to like a big sort of monstrous thing up above them in the being backlit. Cue immense screaming, and all 3 of them sitting outside going, "Oh, for fuck's sake!"
Yeah, all of them know.
What the fuck was that? Who does that?
She has literally fought against demons of the devil, and she's like, nope.
Nope.
Well, and again, it's a case of it was it was set up to time as a timed scare.
Yes.
And to play on certain fears. It was a well-constructed spook. But Emmy's still sitting there going, oh, for fuck's sake, what the hell? Both Emmy and Susan are like, what the? Why are we scared by that? What the hell? And they go check out the new reptile exhibit, and like, neither...
There is one part you missed, unless I was disconnected at the time when you missed it. Is obviously once they've done the whole thing with the bathing suits and got into costume. The first thing that Chio does, is goes, oh, let's go order some food. Really?
Right.
Yeah. So she goes and she goes up to order stuff from Mao, and Mao's like, yep. Oh, hey, Chio, good to see you. And she's like, yeah. So she sort of slowly.
She's got like her arms like arranged in such a way to make herself pop.
Yep. And she asks him questions, and he's like, "Yeah, oh no, things are going great. It's great. I like this place is really, really efficient."
She's proper like fan servicing it. Her arms are underneath her boobs, like pushing them hugely up. And she goes, "So how does it look, Mao?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's a nice little location. It's actually not a bad store." She's like,
I don't know. Her reaction is priceless. She's like, "Yeah, should have seen that coming."
Yeah.
She knew, and that's the best part about it. She's like, yeah, it's not like she's like, it's not that she's crushed it. She's like, yep.
Yeah. That was going to happen.
Yep.
Had to try, but that was going to happen.
So yeah, they get to the reptile exhibit, and more hilarity ensues there. Mostly the fact that, Mao, basically, so, Suzuno's not scared by lizards or reptiles at all. Emmy has issues with them because of,
Fighting a basilisk.
Fighting a basilisk and shit like that. And Chio is just like, yeah, they're creepy little things.
Yeah, they have this great scene where Emmy and Chio are like, yeah, we don't like reptiles, and it cuts back to Chio in her childhood where a gecko was on the shutter on the window, and she didn't like the look of it. Then cut to Emmy's flashback, which is her fighting a fucking basilisk.
With surrounded by the petrified remains of her soldiers.
Yeah. then cut to Suzuno, who's reminiscing about eating one because she visited a city where lizard was on the menu.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, it looked a little gross at first, but it tasted really good. So they're wandering through, and eventually Chio asks, so Suzuno, any of these look like the type you had? She's like, I'm trying not to think about them like that. They're exhibits at a zoo. They're zoo exhibits.
These are not for eating.
Yeah.
No.
Eventually, a monkey from the circus has gotten loose and ends up in the reptile exhibit. It's at one point nicked some keys and stuff, and
this is a clever monkey. He somehow managed to steal keys, put them in a lock, turn the lock, open the door, then decide, my work here is done. I'm going to go find boobs.
Because it does. Because it's looking through the bushes. It's the girls see it and they're like, "Oh, a monkey! Did you get lost?" And it immediately goes flying over to Chio.
Because boobs.
Yeah. The monkey
and his consternation. She's like, and eventually, it turns out that the monkey is named Sadao.
Because of course it is.
Because of course it is. And its owner and Mao are come looking for it because Mao is delivering food to the circus, and the monkey's gone missing, and he's like, "Well, I'll help you guys, sure.
Why not?"
Helpful. And he eventually find the monkey, and the girl he goes back to his owner, and
obviously he bumps into the girls at this point.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, hey, how y'all doing?" etc. And but the monkey has, as Gav pointed out, unlocked a cage, which is the alligator cage.
Very large alligators.
Possibly crocodiles. I think they're alligators, though.
And they look like gators. Judging by the nose, but they might have been crocs.
I don't. Yeah. Anyways, they get out. They start going all over the park and scaring the customers and such. So.
Well, you say scaring, but it clearly shows them swimming underneath people in the pool.
Yes.
So how no one died is a fucking miracle.
Well, the alligators weren't hungry.
Yeah, they were
literally
well fed.
Yeah.
Nobody gets hurt. It's just not that kind of show, honestly.
No. So I don't think anybody actually does die in this show. Other than people being told are killed.
We see flashbacks of people being gruesomely killed in Enta Isle, honestly.
Yeah. We hear about, obviously, Emmy's dad and the people that were killed by the demon armies, but that's really about it.
Ashiet talks about how much he likes chewing on entrails.
No, he mentioned that Mao mentions that he actually now understands the demons who do.
Right.
Yes, because they go to an offal restaurant.
Yes.
And he's like, wow, the guys were right. The guts are the best bits.
So, yeah. At any rate, panic crowds, cue, say, the devil's getting his power back music.
Yeah.
As he walks forward and proceeds to cast an incantation to calm the alligators down and then send them back to their pens, spending up what mana he picked up.
Because he's just that kind of guy.
Utterly baffling Suzuno.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. This is the turning point for Suzuno. This is the first time she's seen what Emmy's seen multiple times now. That he just basically uses all his power. He's being fed raw magic, and he instantly burns it to save people.
Yep.
Suzuno's utterly baffled by this. the other important bit that's been going on in the background is that somebody showed up and attacked Emmy while she was shopping, while she was at a convenience store, and had the ability to basically seal away her power. One other thing...
Yeah, she summons the sword, and basically a beam of light hits it, and it shrinks.
Yep. The other thing of note is that we forgot to mention, actually, is that her friends from Ent Isle have been shipping to her holy power in a bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it turns out that Emeralda is a fairly powerful wizard in her own right, a magician, and alchemist. So she's the one that's been like keeping the gates open and this, that, and other, and going back and forth when she needs to, and also developing potions and the rest of it. And she develops this essentially holy power in a bottle.
Also, she's managed to come up with a way to talk with Emmy over the phone from Ent Isle.
She sets up a fucking phone plan from Ent Isle. She's like, I'm not going to talk too long because I don't want to get a huge bill. Where the fuck are they going to send it?
Don't know. Don't care. It's hilarious.
She also has a supply of Pocky because, of course,
of course she does, because she discovered Pocky.
Pocky is delicious.
Yes.
She basically starts making, it's assumed that she starts making regular trips back to Earth to collect all this shit.
Well, she mentions that she's been able to arrange shipping somehow. I want to know how.
Well, she ordered it through Amazon.
Jungle.
Oh, Jungle it is. It's fucking jungle.com, yeah.
Yep.
At any rate, so Emmy's been basically able to build up her sacred power supplies because she has, sacred power in a bottle. And eventually, on the way home from the amusement park, Suzuno and Chio are at the same train station. Chio's going off back to her house, and we see basically, off in the distance, a dude wearing sort of raincoat and such, much similar to outfit of the guy who attacked Emmy.
Yeah.
Who then reveals a pair of big white feathery wings and then disappears. And we have another sort of mostly comedic episode about setting up basically there's a festival sort of summer festival where they have like a yard sale type thing outside the apartments and such in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And the
landlady is in Florida, Hawaii, and
Hawaii.
it's just like
I found all this cool stuff that I think will sell really well at the festival. So would you guys sell it for me? By the way, there's some food stuff here. You guys have that share it amongst yourselves. Have fun.
Yeah, so there's like tiki dolls and typical Hawaiian stuff and Maori masks and all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
And then there's like fucking cases of guava juice and
chocolate-covered macadamia nuts.
Yeah, pineapple rings and all this sort of shit for them. It's just like, okay.
Because I will say this. She sent them guava juice and chocolate-covered macadamia nuts. She is awesome.
Yes.
Because both those things are amazingly delicious. Especially the chocolate-covered macadamia nuts. God damn it.
Yes. And then she sends them a postcard.
That was earlier.
Was it?
Oh yeah.
I missed
that was much earlier.
I missed
we didn't talk about it because it's not plot consequential, really.
No, but it's hilarious.
Oh god, yes, that episode's great. At any rate, yeah. So towards the end of it, Suzuno sort of wanders away and runs into the wing dude again, and turns out it's actually the manager of the Kentucky Fried Chicken, Shock of Shocks.
Yeah.
And he's actually an angel. Sariel.
An archangel.
He's an archangel. Yeah. And he basically telling her to do her duty and take out Mao, like now. And she's basically you're an inquisitor. You're the Grand Inquisitor. Go kill Satan.
Yeah.
What are
you
doing?
Do your job.
And so she has this big confrontation with with Emmy, and she basically starts talking about it in front of Chio.
Yeah.
Like talking about the stuff and because she's not tipped her hand to Chio that she's from Ent Isle yet. And
Chio has already figured this out.
No, Chio doesn't know that yet. Chio knows Emmy's from Ent Isle. She knows about everybody else. She just doesn't know about that Suzuno is.
Oh, right.
But Suzuno basically tips her hand, and Chio's like, And Chio reveals that she's known about this whole time. So, okay, so you act. I was pretty sure that you did know about Satan being, Mao being Satan, but that confirms it, and you still love him. I don't get that, but whatever. It's unimportant. And she basically proceeds to talk about, like, we've had flashbacks to her, her life as an Inquisitor, which, kind of brutal and awful.
Yeah, the necessary sacrifices as deemed by the church.
Yep.
Yeah, less inquisiting and more executing.
As I mentioned, she is, in addition to being like the Chief Inquisitor, she is also, an assassin.
Yeah. Not a pleasant assassin either. She uses a giant fucking pom-pom mallet.
Yes.
Come back so that I'm
not gonna lie. Kind of expected to go squeakums when it hits people.
It doesn't, though. It really doesn't.
They go squeakums. The mallet doesn't. They go squeakums.
Yeah. At any rate.
Squishums, whichever.
But yeah, so she and Chio end up in this argument about, that she's got to kill Satan and all this stuff, and that her plan is basically going to kill Satan. Emmy and I are going to go back and we're going to erase your memory. And Chio's like, but no,
I do not want this. This is not part of the plan.
And the two of them basically start arguing with each other about, and Chio basically proceeds to, she's talking about, they both actually have sort of, Chio's point is mostly that, what Suzuno is talking about doing and the way she's doing it, because Mao was bad before, but he's done nothing wrong here. He's been nothing but a good person since he's been on Earth. He's made everything better around him. He's my friend. He's and like
he's your friend now, and yeah.
He's been nothing but super nice to you. And
to which Suzuno replies, yes, but he still has to answer for the crimes he did, and and what he's doing now is clearly just a front so he can do it here. I've heard him say as such. And then Chio basically starts calling her out on the whole idea of sacrificing for the greater good, because those kinds of sacrifices shouldn't be necessary if it was for the greater good. And Suzuno actually gets pissed at Chio. She's really mad at herself, but she's pissed at Chio.
Yeah, because she's got that sort of thing of like, the sacrifices I've had to make over the years, they have to be worth something. I've done bad things. It's got to be for a good reason. Otherwise, what's the fucking point? I mean, this is what she's thinking, very clearly.
Yeah.
At which point, Emmy basically sort of comes in as the cooler head. Emmy being the cooler head, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And basically saying, yeah, look, I mostly agree with Suzuno that, it's probably smartest to take down Mao now, while we can. That said, it's not worth it to hurt the people I care about, because that will hurt Chio, and no. What's the point of being the hero if in order to save people, I have to hurt the people I care about?
Yeah. That's the way she reasons it. It's like there's no, basically it's calling out the Inquisition for doing the fucking shit they do in the name of good.
So you're doing evil in the name of good. It's still fucking evil.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, like, so yes, if I need to, I will. Again, I've said this, and I mean it. I will stand by it. If he does stuff if he starts being evil and starts going into full, I am Satan, I'm going to conquer the world and destroy everything, blah, ha, 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 I'll put his ass down. But not until it's necessary. And, Suzuno goes and it's like, how can you be so bloody naive? And it's like, because I'm the goddamn hero, and that's what I do. It's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to be the guiding light and fight that way. Otherwise, what's the point of my existence?
The internet is not happy with me today.
I'm sorry, Eric.
It's clearly your fault.
Yes. So at any rate, basically, so Suzuno's like, so you're not going to take down Satan right now? Not right now. And so Suzuno basically goes off. Which leads up to the sort of the big Satan's Mao's gone off to work. At which point, Sariel shows up again in his disguise to take on Emmy again, and basically reveals himself, what he is, and that he's here to reclaim to take the sword back.
Right.
Yeah, basically, he assigns himself the part that he's a divine being. The holy blade, better half, was only a loan to the mortals to save themselves from the devil, and if she's not going to use it properly, then they want it back.
And so, while he's doing this, and he comes up to her, and while he's knocked her down, and she's shrunk the sword, and she's like coming to claim it, and then the sword disappears. And he's like, "The fuck?" And meanwhile, Chio is pulled out herself.
Well, she recalls it, doesn't she? Yeah.
And which point, as she's in the process of calling Mao, the phone's ringing, and then Suzuno shows up and knocks her out. Puts her to sleep effectively.
Mm. Yeah, because just going back 1 second, it turns out that Sariel's good at dealing with people like Emmy because of he's basically got an ability, something like Wicked Eyes or something like that, or
Gaze of the Fall.
Gaze of the Fallen or something like that. Basically, he's really powerful against other holy users.
He can shut down holy magic basically at will.
He can shut down holy magic. So he was basically shrinking the sword, reducing her power, and a last attempt to stop him from taking it, she recalled it back into herself.
Right. So he abducts Emmy, and because he's knocked her out, and they take Chio along with them. And basically Mao gets the phone call, but it's cut off. At which point Chio's mom calls and basically says thank you for being so nice to my daughter and taking care of her and looking after her at work and all that stuff. Do you know where she is? Is she hanging out with you right now? Because I know she hangs out with you occasionally. And because Chio's parents are like she's apparently very fond of this guy, and she hangs out with him a lot, and he's been nothing but, for everything we've heard, everything we can tell, he's been nothing but nice and good to her. Fine. We're okay with that. He seems to be a perfectly responsible, good guy. And so she's checking to see if Chio's with him, and he's like, because she's not been home yet, and he's like, okay.
She's not here.
She's not at work.
I'm at work, so...
Figure it out.
And my mom's like, okay, well, let us know if you find her. Yeah, we'll do. Calls her Ushihara. Okay, Ushihara, where the hell is Emmy? What's going on? Basically, because Ushihara mentions that he actually planted a tracking device on her.
Yeah, he's actually planted tracking devices on everybody.
On pretty much everyone, yeah. He found them online, thought, ooh, that's fun, and bought tracking devices.
So he's got he put a tracking device specifically on both Emmy and on Suzuno.
Yes.
And he's like, okay, yeah, they're heading right towards the government building. And he's like, okay, great. Grabs them up, grabs Dulahan, and goes biking off to the building.
Which also happens to be where, yeah.
It's near, okay, also at this point, what's been going on?
Ashi is there because he's, yeah.
Ashihara has become very ill because he ate too much of the now going somewhat bad udon.
He didn't want to waste it.
Right, well,
yeah.
They had a shit ton of udon. He didn't want to waste it because obviously that meant they're wasting something. So he decided to eat it all himself and got food poisoning.
Yep. Now, it turns out it's a little bit more than that. We find out a little bit later, but... Okay, here's the thing. We find out in the confrontation between... Because basically, Mao shows up low on magic power, knocks down the burial Sariel's put up around the building and to go up, and Sariel basically tells
Suzuno
to go take care of him. And Suzuno comes leaping down and to take him on. And basically, he's like, yeah, I knew that all along. And he's like, yeah, you actually did sort of a slight number on Ashia. And there's a great scene of Ushihara, of Lucifer, sort of looking in the fridge, looking at leftovers and going, some of the stuff that she made me sniff.
It's a little celestial forcey.
A little celestial forcey, but whatever, I can probably handle it.
It's
Yeah,
like,
she's like, how did you know? How did we not know?
yeah, it's like, well, there's things of holy power, but food is food.
Yep. It's one of my favorite little scenes in the whole show.
Yes.
So yeah, so he's in the hospital, desperately trying to avoid extra IV bags because he doesn't want to get charged.
Because it costs
Things
money.
are going to cost. Yeah, he's on national health, and he's just the only question he's got for the nurses is this covered? What will it cost?
So yeah, so we find out a little bit what's going on. Sariel's trying to take he's being remarkably creepy as he always is. He's
Yeah.
especially when
He's
he's
a
talking
creeper.
about like poor Chio, because he's like, yeah, she's definitely physically more my type than you are, Emmy. Also, I want to take her back as she's like, just let Chio go. She's just a mortal. She's a normal human. She's from this world. He's like, but she's an interesting example that I'd like to explore and investigate because she knows who the devil is and still fell in love with him, and that's really interesting. So I want to be able to investigate her thoroughly.
Yeah, because the dude's a creeper.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's basically torturing Emmy, trying to get her to give her the sword back. She points out that, yeah, it seems like the sword's rejected you, asshole.
Yeah. I couldn't call it if I wanted to.
It's not showing up. You've tortured me enough that I'd be willing to summon it, but I can't. Sucks for you.
You are bad at your job.
So he's like, well, I'll have to rip it out of your body by force. Then he proceeds to open her blouse, and she's like, the fuck? You lech?
Dude!
And then basically, she and Chio proceed to start calling him, a perv in like 18 different ways, which is hilarious.
Yeah, and the amusing thing is he takes most of it. He's like, no, I never did that.
I was never a peeping Tom.
Yeah.
It's like,
he draws the line. He'll take credit for what he's done, but
at any rate, basically, Emmy points out, like, okay, look, dude, you've really fucked up. You should let Chio go, if only because if you hang on to her and do what you're saying you're going to do, you're gonna piss off Satan. And he's like, the fuck are you talking about? She's like, look, she's one of his she is his co-worker. She works underneath him. He takes that very seriously, and he's fond of her as a friend on top of that. He's going to go through heaven or high water to get her back and make sure she's safe. And he's like, I love Sariel's reactions, like, wait, so, he works for her, and, like, the devil, you're saying the devil is bound by these mortal rules, the mortal rule of law, and she's like, no, he's not bound by it. He's chosen to be bound by it.
Yeah, he's chosen to follow them.
Which I think is a wonderful, wonderful point coming from her. And
Yes.
it's her big...
He decided that this was the right thing to do.
Yep. And I also really enjoy the little bit of interplay between Mao and Suzuno, because like it becomes very clear quickly that Suzuno's like to Mao that Suzuno's not actually trying to kill him, that she's actually counting on him to save the day.
Right.
Because she can't directly go against Sariel.
Well, this is the bit where they get the line where she's like reveals that she's from Enter Island. He's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew all along.
How did you know? How could I not know? You think a cute girl from the sticks just moves in next door to a bunch of neats and just starts taking care of them? That doesn't happen.
It's like, oh.
Yeah, the same reason that I thought Emmy should have figured it out. And he did, because he's the fucking devil. So, yeah, Satan shows up on the roof. The other things that happened is that Sariel's sort of increased power, sort of holy power, has woken up Obermeyer in the hospital.
Yes. Just to the point where she has basically gotten up under threat of having a second IV bag.
Yeah.
He started taking a walk, and like sees an unconscious cop. The cop who's unconscious outside of Olba's room, and he's like, "The fuck? An unconscious cop? That's terrible!" And you, Olba, and punch, arc thud, on my stomach. And Olba basically takes his health card and looks at, oh, that's where he's living. Okay, I'm gonna go there now. And like, the nurse shows up, sees him collapse on the floor. It's like, see, I told you shouldn't get up. You're getting another IV bag. No, make it 2. And he's like, no, no arguments. Oh God. So yeah, So Olba basically shows up at Castle Satan, as it were. Sees Lucifer there, and is like, "Oh, Lucifer, you still want to get back? Still want to go to heaven?" And he's like, "All right, fine." So they go buggering off. He basically takes Emmy. They've got Emmy. Olba has Emmy's bag, so he's basically juiced up on holy power, but she's carrying little bottles. She carries little bottles of that with her. And he basically, the important bit that they mention is that Sariel gets his power, large part of his power comes from the moon. And the closer he is to the moon, the more powerful it is. The more powerful he is. And Ola basically casts an enchantment to basically bring the moon closer, effectively. Like, really fucking
it's
close.
like a portal, essentially.
Right.
It's like portal. It doesn't physically move the moon closer, but it essentially opens a fucking portal above the city. So that it's like, the moon's right there.
Right. And so, you see him and basically Mao's come up the roof and has basically challenged him and basically said, I'm here to save my friends, effectively. Well, my friend and Emmy.
It's a great little line. But yeah, I mean, they've done this whole thing where, it's like you say, Sariel is now gloating, saying he's unbeatable while the moon is, while he's this close to the moon, there's nothing that can touch him. And meanwhile, and it's done very subtly, you realise the moon's just appeared right above the fucking city.
Yep.
This entire city is now panicking like fuck. This entire city is now afraid.
And so Sariel basically slams a bunch of rocks from the building he's cut up. Because the battle's been going on the roof and he's been blowing the building, so stuff's been raining down around there, also panicking people.
Yeah.
And so he basically takes all the rubble and slams it on Satan. He's like, ah, ha, 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 explosion! And then there's Satan, and Mao's back in full Satan form. And Sariel's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
You done fucked up!
Yeah.
And it's not just him, because Ashi is then powered up as well.
Yep. Ashi is powered up, and so my favorite bit though at this point is Olba's sitting there, it's brilliant, and Lucifer's sitting, Ushahara is standing next to him. He's like, by the way, can I get Emmy's bag back? Yeah, sure. Why? Oh, if I didn't make sure she got it back, she'd kill me. And Olba's like, wait, what?
Sure you can.
Lucifer's like, yeah, punked you out. All right, knocks him the fuck out. And is like, yeah. You can also find heaven in a small apartment in Japan, it turns out.
Yeah.
As long as I got an internet connection, I don't need heaven. I'm going home.
Yeah.
Which shuts off the portal to the moon, depowering Sariel a little bit, so that even if Sariel was with full moon power was even close to Satan at this point, not so much anymore.
No.
Yeah.
There's a couple of really cool little bits where Sariel's panicking and he dives to attack Chio, to grab her as a human shield.
Right.
And as he gets to her, Chio turns around, uppercuts him, and then spin kicks him away before turning into Satan because he was fucking Satan.
Yes.
Because he disguised himself, he cast an illusion on himself. It's like,
because he was being the fucking trickster god, because of course.
And Emmy gets knocked on the roof, he catches her, and proceeds to start monologuing at Sariel about you may be powerful against people who use sacred power, but I'm your worst fucking nightmare. And as he's saying this, and Emmy's like, could you put me down? He's like, oh, right, sorry. As I was saying, you may be powerful against sacred force users.
There's the little jokes they put in though, because I know again, and it's because I'm 5. We laughed at this for a good couple of minutes.
Yes.
He's picked her up and he's carrying her along, and obviously she earlier on Sariel ripped her cloak open, and and all this sort of stuff, and he's just carrying her along, and just out of nowhere, it's like, Emmy, what? I can see your boobs. And she just doesn't say anything. She just sighs and just pulls her shirt across her chest.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a different translation than the one Eric and I are watching, where the subs actually said that, Emmy, your shirt's open. And she's like, nah.
I honestly think the translation I saw was funnier. But either way, it's like I say, they took the time to put that little bit in there just as a little, even though it's all fucking going to shit. You can't tell me these two aren't friends at this point.
At this point, it's abundantly clear at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, he's come to say he's saved her ass. You know, again, like if I do get the impression that Emmy's actually being truthful about the fact that if he actually goes full evil again, she probably would kick his ass. Yep. Because again, that's who she is. But like, he doesn't intend to. So, at any rate, yeah, Satan kicks Sariel's ass. Hilariously.
It's not even funny.
It is funny. It's fucking hilarious.
Well, yeah. Yeah, he beats absolute crap and then does the whole wind-up magic circle punch again.
Yes.
Well, my favorite thing is he says, I'm a merciful demon. I'll give you a choice. You can run along home with your tail between legs, or I can kick your ass. And Sariel's like, fuck you! I can't lose now! Smack, 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 smack. All right, Sariel. What I want to hear from you right now is you begging your own god for forgiveness because you done fucked up. And Sariel at this point is like, oh god, please save this lost sheep. Because Sariel's realized, I done fucked up.
Yes.
Kablooey.
And again, you just see from orbit a bright white light.
Yeah. And then Ashia shows up because he's gone back home to get his mantle and Satan's. He's like, and I got your cape too, sir. You're late. It's already over. It's like,
but actually, where were you? I went to get my mantle. It's all over.
but I got your cape too.
I'm sorry.
There's one of the wonderful
because Ashia's got a really cool design. He's almost like part dragon when he's in demon mode.
Yeah, because he's got the sort of segmented tail and everything.
Yeah, but we never see him do anything because he's always fucking running home for his cape.
Which is hilarious. At any rate, so that's the next to last. That is actually the next to last episode of the show. It turns out.
Yeah.
The final episode, honestly, starts off with basically the cold opening to the show. The last episode is hilarious because it's basically after the aftermath of the battle. You know, Mao has cleaned things up, and he's there with Chio, and he's basically telling her that he's got to go back to Enta Isle. And Chio's like, but I want to come with you. He's like, I can't bring you with me. I'm sorry. We're from two different worlds. We never really should have met. This is goodbye. And he kisses her on the forehead and opens the portal, steps through, and then Chio sits bolt upright, awake, going, oh my god!
Yes. She calls Emmy, who is having a dream where Satan's returns with his cloak in his McDonald's uniform. Is aha! And I've finally conquered Japan, and now on to my next conquest, Greenland.
But yeah, we also get a bit like Chio basically telling Mao about the dream, and he's like, "Yeah, don't worry, I'm not about to leave. I have no magic power left. I had to fix the city again. God damn it! Every time I get a lot of magic power, there's an entire city to fucking repair." But yeah, so Ashia basically comes in at one point, basically saying, you know, telling Mao that he's got to take some time off to himself. He needs a leave of absence. And Mao's like, okay, sure. And then a little bit later, he comes in and basically asks to be able to, if he could change up his shifts a bit so that because he's got some things he's got to do. And Chio's like, wait, maybe he's leaving again. And she goes to talk to Emmy about it, and Emmy's like, well, they're clearly up to something. Let's figure out what the hell, let's follow them and find out what they're up to. And they follow Mao, and he's gone off to work part-time construction. And like he sees them, and he basically comes out, he basically eventually talks to them over lunch, and he's like, okay, look. So, you know, yeah, Emmy, so the reason I was able to find you so easily is because Ushihara planted a tracking device on you and on Suzuno. And she's like, wait, what? In your bag? It's like...
She rummages around her bag, pulls it out. Little son of a bitch!
It's like... So, yeah, they were kind of expensive, and the credit payment's going to be coming out of our account right before my paycheck goes in. So Ashia decided to take some daily paid temp work, and I decided to pitch in too. That's what this is all about.
Mm.
Oh. And so, and Emmy's like, well, when I went by the place, you had a huge delivery of boxes. What the hell was that part of? And he's like, what huge delivery of boxes? Smash cut back to their place with Ushihara standing in front of the boxes, going, these were here when I moved in. No, they really were, dude.
Yeah, it's like there's bundles of like duvet covers and fire extinguishers
and
air
like
filters and water filters and things like that.
Yeah.
It's just all random shit.
Crap.
Yeah, and there's a great bit where it's like Mao's like, Ushihara, how much did this cost? He's like, 128,000 smack.
he's got his head like on the wall right by Ushihara's head, and he starts leaning in. And Ushihara's like, he's so close. Oh my god, why? So it turns out he's been scammed. It's part of a big. It's part of a.
So yeah,
they go over the details of the scam.
they eventually figure out a legal loophole that let them.
Yeah,
It turns out they've been hit by a scam basically, where
Yep.
he's
Yeah.
bought a load of shit that he was supposed to then sell on, but it's all useless tats, and they can't return it because the company involved is dodgy as all hell, and they've got loopholes after loopholes after loopholes as to why they don't have to return anything.
because they call to try
And
to
the big
return it, and it turns out the
kicker,
person on the other end of the phone is.
The joke of it is guess where Ashia ended up working?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's great when they go visit him because
Yeah, it turns out he was actually the guy on the phone that
Yep.
Mao ended up getting in touch with, trying to return them, and he's like, "No, sir, I'm sorry, we can't do this."
Yep.
It's like, I thought that voice sounded familiar.
There's a wonderful bit there too where they're like, okay, so
Immediately stops working for the dude because he's so dishonest. This is a demon from hell.
Right.
so yeah, my favorite little bit.
And yeah,
though-
this-
You inadvertently had me committing evil. I mean, committing evil is one thing, but inadvertently, how can I enjoy it?
So yeah, my
And
favorite
he
bit about
basically
this
comes
though.
around where, yeah, it's a bit of, it's more just like a little fun little episode to finish things off. So it turns out they find a legal loophole, get out of it, blah blah blah. It all ends up there. The only other thing of note that we haven't covered is the fact that Sariel, at the end of the fight, Sariel was basically punted into a portal by.
He
by
opened up
Mao,
a gate to throw, and now
to
opened a
get
gate.
rid of him. Now
Yeah.
you assume at that point it's back to
Yeah.
Anti-eel. Yeah.
Antila. But it turns out, you know, that a while back when Peter mentioned the accidental magic when they managed to get customers into the burger restaurant. It turns out that the tree they used for that is still magically charged, and so is actually basically interfering with some of his magic. And yeah, Sariel got teleported to the burger place. He's in the freezer.
Yeah.
Hang on. Looks like we've lost Peter.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
There
There we go.
Discord was being derped. It was just on Discord's end. I'm pretty certain the chat could still hear me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, hopefully they could hear us.
Oh no, I can hear you, so they can hear you.
Okay. So
I heard you guys fine. The Discord decided to stop paying attention to my mic.
Yeah.
I realized that when I was trying to say something, and Gav kept talking over me, and I'm like, wait. I think they can't hear me.
I'm not listening to you anymore.
So yeah, I was going to say my favorite bit though from all of this, honestly, during the scene is basically when they're sitting around like after they try to do the returns on the phone.
Yes.
And like they're like, at which point, Mao turns to Ushihara and he's like, dude, when they come, like, you can just tell them to go away. And he's like, I'm socially awkward. I'm sorry, I'm socially inept is what he says.
Yes.
I'm socially inept.
Yeah, it's great. That is a fantastic line.
And yeah, they basically because of the loophole they find, they turn it around on the scammers and send it off, and
Yeah, it turns out that Ushihara put himself down as being only 16 years old.
No,
They made a contract.
Mal put him down at that cheap and that age, and put he and Ashia as his guardians.
Yeah, you can't form a legal contract with a minor.
Right.
Without written consent from their guardians.
Fuck you, buddy.
And Emmy's one who points that out. But yeah, the episode basically ends. The series ends on a actually a really fun little bit. Final credit music plays. Various things going on. All sort of stuff.
Well, the only other part that I haven't mentioned is that obviously, as I mentioned, Sariel comes out. They find Sariel in the freezer.
Yes.
And it turns out he's now joined the gang, so to speak. He's not interested in being angelic or divine or anything like that anymore, as such. But he is now completely obsessed with the manager of Burger King. Or McDonald's, whatever it's called. McDonald's.
Well, the big thing is... The thing is that the first time we see him, he shows up because he's basically there to see the manager, and he mentions that he's heard rumors of this gorgeous manager who works at this McDonald's.
Yes.
That he wants to meet, and he wanted to meet her. So he's been trying to meet this woman for like the entire time he's been in the show.
Yes.
And he finally does, and he starts waxing poetic in his remarkably creepy and lame way, and she's like, "Oh, fuck you."
Yeah. She's an older, mature, not old, but she's in her late 20s, something like that. She is having none of this shit.
Because she is actually, she's like, fuck no, go away. And he keeps going. She's like, oh, fuck you. You want me to call the cops? Because I will. And eventually she stomps on his head with her high heels.
Yes. And again, another thing I like about this show is there are the creepy men tropes, but the women in this show know exactly how to fucking handle them. And it's the women that put them in the place for the most part.
Yep. Oh, I just love the fact she's like, yeah, I'm not taking any of your bullshit, Sariel. Fuck off.
Yeah.
He later sends her flowers, and she's like, yeah. In the credits thing, but it ends with Emmy and Mao standing on the corner. Mao standing there, sort of in the rain without an umbrella. Emmy walks up with her umbrella, and she basically hands him one. She says, "Yeah, I destroyed your last one, so this is a replacement." And he's like, "Thanks." He genuinely thanks her. She smiles a bit. They put up their umbrellas, and they sort of stand there as it pans up over above them, and the show ends. That's where the show ends. The overhead shots, I really like the detail I like about the overhead shot is she's standing there spinning her white umbrella back and forth while he's standing there with his black umbrella.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is a nice little touch.
Which is a good touch.
And that's The Devil is a Part-Timer. So I guess we should we've been going for a while, and I do have some things I got to do tonight, so we should probably move into final thoughts. Okay. What do we do? Gav, Eric, then me.
All right.
Okie day. You know how I said last time out that what was it called again?
Konosuba.
Konosuba, that's it. Konosuba is one of those that was trying too hard to make you laugh, at least at first. And that that some comedies have to be really well done. This is well done because this is the story. And again, it's the same situation. The story and things that are funny that happen because of the story, not hitting you in the face with jokes. This is one of the funniest shows we've watched outright. Because it's set as an actual comedy itself, not as just bits with funny stuff. This is one of the funniest shows we've seen. Good action. Fucking awesome soundtrack. I love the soundtrack. And I mean, I like to say, I'm not, out of the three of us, I'm probably the least when it comes to animation, but really well animated for me. There was no obvious flaws that I saw. The fight scenes were just awesome. I mean, they did cut out. They didn't bother with the big hits and all that sort of stuff. Like you say, they did a lot of the we'll see the hit from orbit, which is a bit of a cheat, but not a huge one. I've already said that now that I've watched it once, I'm probably going to watch it through again, this time in the dub. I really enjoyed it. This more. I thought the end was a little bit open for me. It feels like a show that thought it was going to get a second season, or was really hoping it was going to get a second season, because you can see where they can follow on. It's a shame that up to this point it hasn't. It's been a couple of years now, so I'm the hope is waning. But yeah, two thumbs up and two big toes, all for me.
Eric?
I really like this show. I had caught this a while back also, so I knew what I was getting into. And yeah, the show's funny, and I really enjoyed all the characters. Like, there wasn't anyone I actively disliked. Like the two helpers from the fantasy world don't do much.
Even Olba's not really in it that much, so they're not
Yeah,
really there to get stale.
Yeah, Olba doesn't really do a lot, but everyone that they spend time on are all pretty well are very likable and well realized characters. Suzuno might be my favorite. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's either Ashia or Suzuno. Animation wise, yeah, it's something that's gonna like knock you out of the park or anything. We're not talking like One Punch Man or anything, but it's more than adequate for the story. They did more with the animation than they needed to.
Yeah,
which is always nice. Usually with a comedy series, you can just sort of let it slide a bit, except for the visual gags, but they didn't. And yeah, I liked it. It was fun. And hilarious. So yeah, I'm down with that.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed the show. I thought the writing is really smart and on point, almost across the board. It's the humor is it's when it tries to be funny, which is most of the time, it's funny. The characters are all charming and engaging for the most part. The only character that you really, I personally found a way to dislike, and it's a character you're supposed to dislike, is Sariel. I mean, he's the creepy, and you're supposed to feel that way about him.
He's a well-realized character is the thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with the animation is good. I'm not as good at spotting exactly how good as Eric is, obviously. I love the character designs, and I love the little subtle touches about some of them. Like, I love the fact that that Mao and Ashia and Uroshihara their pupils are slightly different than everybody else. They've got these vertically slit pupils as opposed to everybody else who has quote normal eyes, because they're not.
Yeah, and Emmy's got gold eyes.
Emmy's got gold eyes because she's half angelic. Yeah, but otherwise, there love these little subtle touches that I think are really, really nice. Also, the other interesting thing is that there aren't any of the Emmy's pink hair would normally not be noticeable in most anime, but all the humans you see in the show have normal hair colors. Like, there aren't really anybody out there with dyed hair. The only two people with hair that would normally be only achievable by dyeing are Emmy and Sariel.
The ones from Enter Isla, basically.
And more specifically, the two who are either an angel or related to angels, because Emmy's half angelic according to her backstory. So I thought that's another nice little touch. And just they do a nice little job with facial expressions for the most part. You get a really good feel for what the characters are thinking just by watching how they're animated and what they do, in addition to what they're saying. And I really, really wish that we got more of what's going on, because from what I understand, it's based on the light novel series. Unsurprisingly, like almost the vast majority of the shows we've covered.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, this doesn't cover most of the series. It covers an early chunk of it. I don't know exactly how much it covers. There's more of it, and
I have been looking at the wiki. Sorry, and obviously I have noticed a few characters that we've already met that obviously have their expanded. You know, they expand, they get more into their story. There's a couple we haven't met either, so there is a lot more to go. But
yep. So yeah, I wish there was more. Maybe we'll get more. I mean, hell, Attack on Titan finally got its second season like this year.
Yeah.
As did Blue Exorcist. I mean, both those were long layoffs between seasons, so maybe. I'd like it. I'd be more excited for a second season of Devil Part-Timer than I am for season 2 of Attack on Titan. Okay, according to one of the people at Fourth Aid in the chat here, the series covers basically the first 2 light novels out of the 16 total volumes.
Wow.
Plus some side stories and original stuff. Okay.
Fair enough. Now, I'm just had a quick look, and unfortunately, looking at the studio that have produced this, White Fox, they tend to do a lot of a single series, and that's about it.
Yep.
They did Steins Gate, they did Jormungand, obviously this one.
Well, Jormungand actually finished its story, damn it. God,
yes.
fucking...
Yeah.
We may cover Jormungand at some point. I will have words to say about the ending of that.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a lot of sequel series or anything like that on there, other than a couple of extra Steins Gate OVAs and things like that.
Well, Jormungand got it was actually broken into 2 seasons, from what I understand. So.
Oh right, okay.
So it's possible. I mean, again, it's licensed by Funimation. It's possible Funimation might just, it might get licensed out to a different studio at some point too. That actually happens a bunch. That happened with Log Horizon. Log Horizon had a different studio for season 2.
Oh, okay.
So that does happen. Long as it doesn't end up with Toei, I'm okay. I'll probably be okay. At any rate, we should probably wrap things up here. We all love the show. We all highly recommend it. It's hilarious. It's fun. And it's well written. I mean, it's a good story too.
It's a good show.
Yeah.
But that's going to do it for this week. Thank you everybody for watching. We hope you guys had fun. Going to be uploading this to for those of you watching us live. This is recorded, by the way, for those listening to the recordings. This is recorded live. We record when we do record episodes. We record after we finish watching a series. We record on Mondays, starting at about 7 p.m. Eastern. Here on currently we're recording it on Twitch.tv/MechaJam. So that's what we'll be. For those of you who are watching us live, the recordings will go up to YouTube and to Podcast Garden, and probably onto iTunes too. It eventually finds its way onto iTunes from Podcast Garden. But that's gonna do it for this week. Although, Eric, yours is the next recommendation. What's your choice this time?
Well, I've done 2 comedy series, so I figured it's time for a change. We're gonna do Psychopaths.
All right.
Because
Eric's gonna make us all cry again.
No, just creep you out.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, admittedly, you haven't done that yet.
This is true. Also,
It's true. It's more Philip K. Dick than anything else. So, get ready for that.
All right. I will also point out that the person who has chosen the most depressing series we covered was you, Gav.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
What? Technically, I didn't choose it. It chose me.
Angle grinder of misery.
Everyone go watch Psychano. It's a bundle of joy.
So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and listening, and I hope you enjoyed it. You guys, I know Gav's still taking recommendations, so if you've got recommendations for future series, you can leave them in comments on YouTube on any of the episodes. That way we have it.
Absolutely. I've got a little bit of a list now, but keep adding them. I will get around to them eventually. I am officially out, other than a couple of things that pop up every now and again. But yeah.
Alrighty, that's going to do it for this week, guys. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.